What if the objects we hold in our hands today could rewrite the history books? Scattered across the globe are artifacts that don't just challenge our understanding of the past, they completely upend it. From ancient mechanisms that seem centuries ahead of their time to relics that hint at civilizations far more advanced than we ever imagined, these enigmatic objects have left scientists, historians, and archaeologists scratching their heads for generations. Today, we're diving into the world of 48 artifacts that defy explanation, each one a puzzle waiting to be solved. Why do these objects exist? What secrets do they hold about humanity's forgotten chapters? As we explore these mysteries, you'll discover stories that will make you question everything you thought you knew about our history. So, are you ready to uncover the truth? Let's begin this journey into the unknown. Imagine a device so advanced that it could predict the movements of celestial bodies with astonishing precision, yet it was crafted over 2,000 years ago. This isn't science fiction, it's the Antikythera Mechanism, a relic so extraordinary that it's often called the world's first analog computer. Discovered in a shipwreck off the coast of Greece in the early 20th century, this bronze marvel dates back to around 100 BC. At first glance, it might look like a corroded lump of metal, but beneath its weathered surface lies an intricate system of gears, dials, and inscriptions that reveal its true purpose: to track the positions of the sun, moon, and planets, and even predict eclipses. What makes the Antikythera mechanism so baffling is its sophistication. The technology it displays wouldn't be matched until the invention of mechanical clocks in the 18th century, over a millennium and a half later. How could ancient artisans have crafted something so precise, so ahead of its time? The mechanism's complexity suggests a level of astronomical and engineering knowledge that historians once believed was impossible for its era. It's as if this artifact is a whisper from the past, hinting at a civilization far more advanced than we've ever given them credit for. But here's the real mystery: who created it and what happened to the knowledge they possessed? The Antikythera mechanism isn't just a single anomaly. It's a tantalizing clue that ancient societies may have achieved technological feats we're only beginning to understand. As we examine its intricate gears and decode its inscriptions, we're left wondering, what other secrets from the ancient world are still waiting to be uncovered? This artifact doesn't just challenge our understanding of history, it invites us to rethink what we know about human ingenuity itself. Now, let's turn to a mystery that has baffled scholars for centuries, a book that no one can read. The Voynich Manuscript, named after the rare book dealer who acquired it in the early 20th century, is a perplexing relic from the 15th century. Its pages are filled with an intricate, undecipherable script and accompanied by strange, otherworldly illustrations. From unidentifiable plants to mysterious celestial charts, the manuscript is a visual and textual enigma that has resisted all attempts at translation. For decades, cryptographers, linguists, and historians have pored over its pages, yet its meaning remains as elusive as ever. What could this book possibly be hiding? Theories about the Voynich manuscript are as varied as they are fascinating. Some believe it's a medieval medical text filled with herbal remedies and medicinal knowledge lost to time. Others argue it's an alchemical guide containing secrets of transformation and hidden sciences. Then there are those who think it might be an elaborate hoax crafted to mystify and deceive. But the most intriguing possibility is that it could hold knowledge from a forgotten civilization, one that understood things far beyond the scope of the 15th century. The manuscript's bizarre imagery, including plants that don't seem to exist and astronomical diagrams that don't match any known system, only adds to the mystery. What makes the Voynich manuscript so captivating is not just its content but the questions it raises about human history and knowledge. Why would someone go to such lengths to create a book that no one could read? Was it meant to protect valuable information, or is it a relic of a culture whose language and symbols have been lost to time? The manuscript's enduring mystery reminds us that there are still pieces of our past that refuse to give up their secrets. As we continue to study its pages, we're left wondering, could the key to unlocking its code still be out there, waiting to be discovered? This ancient book doesn't just challenge our understanding of history, it challenges our very ability to comprehend it. What if the ancient world had access to electricity long before we thought possible? Nestled in the sands of Iraq lies an artifact that has sparked one of the most heated debates in archaeology, the Baghdad Battery. Discovered in the 1930s near the capital city of Baghdad, this unassuming object consists of a clay jar, a copper cylinder, and an iron rod, components that, when assembled, some believe could have generated a small electrical charge. Dating back to the Parthian period around 2,000 years ago, this artifact has left experts divided. Could it be evidence of ancient electricity, or is there a simpler explanation? The theory that the Baghdad Battery was used to produce electricity is as fascinating as it is controversial. When filled with an acidic substance like vinegar or wine, the jar could create a chemical reaction between the copper and iron, potentially generating a small electric current. Some researchers suggest it might have been used for electroplating, a process of coating one metal with another, or even for medical treatments such as pain relief through mild electric shocks. If true, this would mean ancient civilizations had a rudimentary understanding of electricity thousands of years before figures like Benjamin Franklin and Alessandro Volta entered the scene. But not everyone is convinced. Skeptics argue that the artifact might have had a more mundane purpose, such as a storage container for scrolls or sacred items. The lack of wires or other components typically associated with electrical devices has led some to dismiss the battery theory altogether. Yet, the idea of ancient electricity continues to captivate the imagination, especially when we consider how little we truly know about the technological capabilities of early societies. Could the Baghdad Battery be a glimpse into a lost chapter of human innovation? What adds to the intrigue is the broader question it raises. If this artifact was indeed a battery, what other advanced knowledge might have existed in the ancient world? Were there other devices or techniques that have been lost to time, waiting to be rediscovered? The Baghdad Battery doesn't just challenge our understanding of history, it invites us to consider just how much we still have to learn about the ingenuity of our ancestors. As we examine this enigmatic object, we're left to wonder, could the spark of ancient electricity still hold secrets that rewrite the story of human progress? The answers, much like the artifact itself, remain shrouded in mystery. In the year 1513, a Turkish admiral named Piri Reis crafted a map that would baffle historians for centuries. Known as the Piri Reis Map, this extraordinary artifact is more than just a navigational tool. It's a window into a world of knowledge that, by all accounts, shouldn't have existed at the time. The map, drawn on gazelle skin, depicts coastlines with a level of precision that seems almost impossible for the era. It includes detailed renderings of South America and, even more astonishingly, what appears to be the outline of Antarctica, a continent that wouldn't be officially discovered for another 300 years. But here's where it gets even stranger. The map shows Antarctica without its ice cap, as if the cartographer had access to knowledge of a time when the continent was free of its frozen shell. How could Piri Reis have known about Antarctica's coastline, let alone its ice-free state? The map's accuracy suggests a source of information far beyond the capabilities of 16th-century explorers. Some researchers propose that the admiral relied on ancient charts passed down through generations, perhaps from seafaring civilizations long lost to history. Others go even further, suggesting that the map's origins might lie in knowledge shared by extraterrestrial beings. While these theories might sound like the stuff of science fiction, they highlight just how perplexing this artifact truly is. The Piri Reis Map doesn't just challenge our understanding of cartography, it forces us to reconsider the history of human exploration itself. What adds to the intrigue is the map's depiction of Antarctica's coastline. Modern seismic surveys have revealed that the continent's landmass, buried beneath miles of ice, aligns remarkably well with the contours shown on the Piri Reis Map. This raises a tantalizing question. How could anyone in the 16th century have known about the shape of a continent that had been encased in ice for millions of years? Some suggest that the map's creators might have had access to knowledge from a pre-glacial era, a time when Antarctica was free of ice and possibly inhabited. If true, this would mean that advanced civilizations existed long before recorded history, a notion that fundamentally reshapes our understanding of human development. The Piri Reis Map isn't just a relic of the past, it's a puzzle that continues to spark debate and speculation. Was it the product of ancient mariners who sailed uncharted waters and recorded their findings, or does it point to a forgotten chapter of human history, one where knowledge was preserved in ways we can scarcely imagine? As we examine its intricate details and ponder its origins, we're reminded that the past is far more mysterious than we often assume. This map doesn't just chart coastlines, it charts the boundaries of our understanding, inviting us to explore the unknown and question what we think we know about the world. The mystery of the Piri Reis Map is far from solved, and its secrets may still hold the key to unlocking a deeper truth about our history. High above the arid plains of southern Peru, the Nazca Desert holds one of the most astonishing mysteries of the ancient world, the Nazca Lines. These enormous geoglyphs, etched into the earth over 2,000 years ago, stretch across hundreds of square miles, forming intricate patterns of animals, plants, and geometric shapes. Some of these figures are so large, stretching up to 1,200 feet in length, that they can only be fully appreciated from the sky. From a hummingbird with wings outstretched to a spider with legs meticulously detailed, the Nazca Lines are a testament to the creativity and precision of the Nazca culture, which thrived between 500 BC and 500 CE. But why did they create these colossal designs, and how did they achieve such accuracy without the ability to fly? Theories about the purpose of the Nazca Lines are as varied as the shapes themselves. One popular idea suggests they served as an astronomical calendar, aligning with celestial events like solstices or equinoxes. For a culture deeply connected to the cycles of nature, this would have been a practical way to track time and plan agricultural activities. Others believe the lines held religious significance, perhaps acting as pathways for rituals or offerings to the gods. The Nazca people, known for their elaborate pottery and textiles, may have viewed these geoglyphs as a way to communicate with the divine, creating sacred spaces in the vast desert landscape. But perhaps the most intriguing theory is that the Nazca Lines were meant to be seen from above, not by humans, but by beings from the sky. This idea has fueled speculation about ancient contact with extraterrestrial visitors, though most researchers dismiss this as unlikely. Instead, they point to the Nazca's ingenuity, using simple tools and careful planning to create these monumental works. By removing the dark surface stones to reveal the lighter soil beneath, they achieved a striking contrast that has endured for centuries. The precision of their work, even without modern technology, is a marvel in itself. What makes the Nazca Lines so captivating is not just their size or artistry, but the questions they raise about human ingenuity and purpose. Why invest so much effort into creating something that could only be fully appreciated from the air? Was it a form of devotion, a scientific tool, or something we haven't yet considered? The lines are a reminder that ancient cultures often saw the world in ways we're still struggling to understand. As we gaze at these ancient desert masterpieces, we're left to wonder what other secrets might be hidden in the sands, waiting to reveal the true story of the Nazca people. The mystery of the Nazca Lines invites us to look beyond the ground beneath our feet and imagine the skies above, and the stories they might tell. In the heart of Turin, Italy, lies one of the most debated and revered artifacts in human history, the Shroud of Turin. This ancient linen cloth, measuring approximately 14 feet long, bears the faint yet haunting image of a man who appears to have endured the brutal wounds of crucifixion. For centuries, it has been at the center of a profound mystery. Is this the burial shroud of Jesus Christ, or is it an intricate medieval forgery designed to deceive? The debate surrounding this artifact is as old as the shroud itself, blending science, faith, and skepticism into a single, enigmatic narrative. The shroud first gained widespread attention in the 14th century when it surfaced in the possession of a French knight. Its origins, however, remain shrouded in mystery, pun intended. Radiocarbon dating conducted in the late 1980s placed its creation between 1260 and 1390, seemingly debunking claims of its ancient origins. Yet the results of this dating have been fiercely contested. Critics argue that the sample tested may have been contaminated or taken from a repaired section of the cloth, skewing the results. This controversy has only deepened the shroud's mystique, leaving its true age unresolved. What makes the Shroud of Turin so extraordinary isn't just its age or the image it bears, but the peculiar way that image was formed. Unlike a painting or a stain, the figure on the shroud is encoded with three-dimensional information, as if the cloth recorded the body's contours in a way that defies traditional artistic techniques. Scientists have studied the shroud extensively, using advanced imaging and chemical analysis, yet no one has been able to fully explain how the image was created. It's not painted, dyed, or burned onto the fabric. It's as if the image appeared through some unknown process, leaving experts both fascinated and baffled. For believers, the shroud is a tangible link to one of the most pivotal moments in religious history. The wounds visible on the figure, including nail marks in the wrists, a spear wound in the side, and lacerations consistent with a crown of thorns, align closely with the biblical account of Christ's crucifixion. To them, the shroud is a miraculous relic, a physical testament to the resurrection. For skeptics, however, the artifact is a masterful medieval creation, perhaps crafted using techniques lost to time. Some even suggest it might have been created as a religious prop, intended to inspire faith rather than deceive. The debate over the Shroud of Turin isn't just about its authenticity, it's about what it represents. For some, it's a symbol of faith and divine intervention. For others, it's a testament to human ingenuity and the enduring power of mystery. What's undeniable is that the shroud continues to captivate, challenging both science and spirituality to reconcile its secrets. Whether it's a miraculous relic or an elaborate hoax, the Shroud of Turin remains one of history's most compelling enigmas, inviting us to explore the boundaries of what we believe and what we're willing to question. Nestled in the lush landscapes of Costa Rica, a series of nearly perfect stone spheres has puzzled archaeologists and historians for decades. Known as the stone spheres of Costa Rica, these enigmatic artifacts vary in size, from small enough to hold in your hand to towering over 2 meters in diameter. Crafted by the Decode culture around 600 CE, these spheres are more than just geological curiosities. They're masterpieces of ancient engineering. But what were they used for, and how did a pre-Columbian civilization achieve such precision without modern tools? The answers remain as elusive as the spheres themselves. The first thing that strikes you about these spheres is their near-perfect roundness. Some are so precisely shaped that modern engineers have struggled to replicate their symmetry using traditional methods. The Dikwis people carved these spheres from hard volcanic rock, a material that would have required immense skill, patience, and knowledge of geometry to shape. This level of craftsmanship suggests that the Dikwis culture possessed advanced stone working techniques, far beyond what we typically associate with ancient societies. But why go to such lengths to create these objects? What purpose did they serve in their world? Theories about the sphere's function are as varied as their sizes. Some researchers believe they were used as astronomical tools, aligned to track celestial events like solstices or equinoxes. For a culture deeply connected to the cycles of nature, this would have been a practical way to mark time and plan agricultural activities. Others suggest the spheres served as status symbols, displayed by powerful leaders or communities to demonstrate their influence and wealth. Imagine these massive orbs placed prominently in public spaces, radiating authority and prestige. Another compelling idea is that the spheres were markers for sacred sites, perhaps indicating places of spiritual significance or acting as waypoints for rituals. The Dikwis culture left behind few written records, so their belief systems remain largely a mystery. Could these spheres have been part of a larger ceremonial landscape, guiding people through sacred spaces or connecting them to the divine? The placement of the spheres, often found in clusters or near burial sites, supports this theory, hinting at a deeper symbolic meaning. What adds to the intrigue is the question of how these spheres were transported. Some weigh several tons, yet they're often found far from their source quarries. Without the use of wheels or large domesticated animals, moving these massive objects would have been a monumental task. This logistical challenge raises further questions about the Dikwis culture's ingenuity and resourcefulness. Did they use ramps, sleds, or even water transport to move the spheres? The methods they employed remain a tantalizing mystery. The stone spheres of Costa Rica aren't just relics of the past, they're a testament to the creativity and skill of an ancient civilization. Their near-perfect shapes remind us that human ingenuity knows no bounds, even in the absence of modern technology. As we explore these enigmatic artifacts, we're left to wonder, what other secrets does the Dikwis culture hold? These spheres are more than just stones. They're a window into a world where art, science, and spirituality intertwined in ways we're only beginning to understand. The mystery of the spheres invites us to look beyond their smooth surfaces and imagine the hands that shaped them, the minds that conceived them, and the stories they might still tell. Hidden deep within the rugged Bayan-Ha Mountains of China lies an artifact that has sparked one of the most extraordinary debates in the world of ancient mysteries, the Dropa stones. Discovered in a remote cave system in the 1930s, these flat, disc-shaped stones are unlike anything else found in the archaeological record. What makes them truly remarkable are the tiny, intricate hieroglyphs spiraling across their surfaces, symbols that some claim tell the story of an alien spacecraft crash landing on Earth 12,000 years ago. Could these stones be proof of extraterrestrial contact, or are they simply an elaborate hoax? The answer is as enigmatic as the stones themselves. The story begins with a Chinese archaeologist named Kai Pu Te, who reportedly stumbled upon the stones while exploring a series of caves. Alongside the discs, he allegedly found the remains of small, unusually proportioned skeletons, beings that some have speculated could be extraterrestrial in origin. The hieroglyphs, when translated by a colleague, supposedly described a race of beings called the Dropa, who came from a distant star system and were stranded on Earth after their spacecraft malfunctioned. It's a narrative straight out of science fiction, but for those who believe, the Dropa stones are more than just a story. They're a potential link to humanity's ancient past. Mainstream archaeologists, however, remain deeply skeptical. Many argue that the stones are likely a modern fabrication, created to capitalize on the fascination with ancient astronauts and extraterrestrial theories. The lack of verifiable documentation from Kai Pute's expedition and the absence of the stones in any official archaeological record have only fueled doubts. Some researchers suggest the hieroglyphs could be nothing more than natural rock formations or the result of weathering, their spiral patterns coincidentally resembling writing. Yet for those who champion the stone's authenticity, the precision of the markings and the consistency of the symbols suggest something far more deliberate. What adds to the mystery is the cultural context of the region. The Bayan Har Mountains have long been steeped in folklore and legends, many of which speak of beings descending from the skies. Could these stories be rooted in a distant memory of extraterrestrial visitors, preserved through oral tradition? Or are they simply myths woven into the fabric of local culture over centuries? The Dropa stones, whether real or imagined, tap into a universal fascination with the idea that we are not alone in the universe and that our ancestors might have known this long before we did. The debate over the Dropa stones isn't just about their authenticity, it's about what they represent. For some, they're a tantalizing glimpse into a past where humans and extraterrestrials might have interacted, challenging our understanding of history and our place in the cosmos. For others, they're a cautionary tale about the allure of the unknown and the dangers of conflating myth with fact. Regardless of where you stand, the Dropa stones remind us that the line between history and mystery is often blurred, and that the truth, whatever it may be, is always worth pursuing. As we examine these enigmatic artifacts, we're left to wonder, could the stars have once been closer than we think? The answer, much like the stones themselves, remains just out of reach. In the dusty corridors of an ancient Egyptian tomb, a small wooden artifact was discovered, one that seems to defy the expectations of its time. Known as the Saqqara bird, this delicate model dates back to around 200 BCE and bears an uncanny resemblance to a modern airplane. With its sleek, aerodynamic wings and a tail fin that looks strikingly similar to those found on aircraft, the Saqqara bird has sparked a debate that stretches across centuries. Could this artifact be evidence that the ancient Egyptians had a grasp of flight? Or is it simply a representation of a bird, as skeptics suggest? The answer lies somewhere between the sands of history and the skies of possibility. At first glance, the Saqqara bird appears to be a simple toy or a ceremonial object. Measuring just over 6 inches in length, it's carved from sycamore wood and features intricate details that suggest craftsmanship and care. But what sets it apart is its design. The wings are angled downward, a feature that aligns more closely with the principles of aerodynamics than with the natural posture of a bird in flight. The tail fin, too, is vertical and flat, unlike the horizontal tails of birds, but strikingly similar to the stabilizers on modern aircraft. These details have led some researchers to propose that the Saqqara bird might be more than just a decorative piece. Could it be a model of a glider or even a rudimentary aircraft? The idea that ancient civilizations might have understood the principles of flight isn't as far-fetched as it might seem. After all, humans have been fascinated by the skies for millennia, and the desire to fly is as old as our species. Stories of mythical flying machines appear in texts from cultures around the world, from the Vimanas of ancient India to the winged chariots described in Greek mythology. The Saqqara bird could be a physical manifestation of that age-old dream, a tangible link to a time when humanity first began to imagine the possibilities of the air. But if that's the case, how did the ancient Egyptians acquire such knowledge? Did they experiment with flight, or were they inspired by something, or someone beyond their understanding? Skeptics, of course, have a different perspective. They argue that the Saqqara bird is likely a representation of a falcon, a bird deeply symbolic in Egyptian culture, often associated with the god Horus. The downward angle of the wings, they say, could simply reflect the bird's posture during a dive or a moment of rest. The vertical tail fin might be a stylistic choice rather than an engineering feature. And without any additional artifacts or records to support the idea of ancient aviation, the theory remains speculative at best. Still, the precision of the design keeps the debate alive, inviting us to consider the possibility that the ancients knew more than we give them credit for. What makes the Saqqara bird so compelling isn't just its design, but the questions it raises about human ingenuity and imagination. Could this small wooden model be a glimpse into a forgotten chapter of history, one where experimentation and innovation reached heights we've yet to fully understand? Or is it a reminder that the line between art and science is often blurred, and that even the simplest objects can carry layers of meaning? As we examine this enigmatic artifact, we're left to wonder, could the skies have been within reach for the ancient Egyptians, even if only in their dreams? The Saqqara bird doesn't just challenge our understanding of history, it invites us to soar into the unknown, where the past and the future meet in the boundless realm of possibility. Deep in the heart of Texas, a discovery was made in the mid-1930s that would leave scientists and historians utterly baffled. Known as the London Hammer, this artifact is no ordinary tool. Found embedded in solid rock that dates back over 100 million years, the hammer looks as if it could have been plucked from a modern toolbox. Its head is made of iron, and its handle is constructed from wood materials that, by all accounts, shouldn't exist in such an ancient context. So how did this hammer end up encased in rock from an era when dinosaurs still roamed the earth? The answer, much like the artifact itself, is shrouded in mystery. The London Hammer was discovered near the small town of London, Texas, by a group of hikers who noticed a peculiar rock formation. Upon closer inspection, they found a piece of wood protruding from the stone. When they broke the rock open, they uncovered the hammer in its entirety. The object's design is strikingly modern, with a sleek iron head and a wooden handle that appears to have been partially petrified over time. At first glance, it seems like a tool that could have been used just a few decades ago, not something that predates the existence of humans by millions of years. This contradiction has sparked a debate that continues to this day. Is the London Hammer evidence of something extraordinary, or is there a simpler explanation? One of the most intriguing theories suggests that the hammer could be evidence of a lost advanced civilization, one that existed long before recorded history. Proponents of this idea argue that the hammer's modern design and the ancient rock encasing it point to a society with technological knowledge far beyond what we've traditionally attributed to prehistoric cultures. Could this artifact be a relic from a civilization that mastered metallurgy and woodworking millions of years ago? It's a tantalizing thought, but one that raises as many questions as it answers. Where is the rest of the evidence for such a culture? Why haven't we found more artifacts like this? On the other hand, skeptics propose that the London Hammer might not be as ancient as it seems. They argue that the rock encasing the hammer could have formed around it relatively recently through a process known as concretion, where minerals in groundwater bind together to form a hard, shell-like layer. If this is the case, the hammer could be a much more recent object that became embedded in the rock over time. However, this explanation doesn't fully account for the hammer's seemingly modern design, or the fact that the wood handle appears to have undergone a natural process of petrification, which typically takes millions of years. What adds to the intrigue is the hammer's composition. The iron head is unusually pure, lacking the impurities typically found in iron produced during the 19th or 20th centuries. This has led some researchers to speculate that the hammer could have been crafted using advanced techniques, further fueling the idea of a lost civilization. Yet, without more context or additional artifacts to study, the hammer remains an isolated anomaly, a single puzzle piece in a much larger, unsolved mystery. The London Hammer doesn't just challenge our understanding of history, it invites us to reconsider the possibilities of what ancient cultures might have achieved. Whether it's evidence of a forgotten civilization, a freak geological occurrence, or something else entirely, this artifact reminds us that the past is far more complex than we often assume. As we examine the evidence and theories surrounding the London Hammer, we're left to wonder, could there be more objects like this waiting to be discovered, hidden in the layers of time? The Hammer's story is far from complete, and its secrets continue to captivate those who seek to unravel the mysteries of our ancient world. Imagine holding a crystal skull in your hands, its surface smooth and flawless, its hollow eyes seeming to gaze into your very soul. These enigmatic objects, carved from clear or milky quartz, have long been associated with Mesoamerican cultures like the Aztecs and the Maya. Often depicted in popular culture as conduits of mystical energy or harbingers of doom, crystal skulls have captured the imagination of adventurers, archaeologists, and conspiracy theorists alike. But are these artifacts truly ancient relics imbued with supernatural powers, or are they clever forgeries from a much more recent era? The truth, as it turns out, is as multifaceted as the crystal itself. The origins of crystal skulls are as mysterious as their appearance. Most of these artifacts surfaced in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, often through the hands of antiquities dealers who claimed they were discovered in ancient ruins. The most famous of these is the Mitchell Hedges skull, named after British explorer Frederick Mitchell Hedges, who allegedly found it in the ruins of a Mayan city in Belize in the 1920s. This skull, carved from a single block of clear quartz, is renowned for its incredible detail and symmetry. Its jawbone is removable, and the craftsmanship is so precise that modern artisans have struggled to replicate it using traditional tools. But here's the catch: there's no evidence that Mitchell Hedges actually discovered the skull in Belize. In fact, some researchers believe he purchased it at an auction in London, raising questions about its true origins. The allure of crystal skulls lies not just in their beauty, but in the claims surrounding their creation and purpose. Some believe they were crafted by ancient civilizations using lost technologies or even extraterrestrial assistance. These theories often point to the skull's flawless surfaces and intricate details as evidence of advanced knowledge far beyond what we typically attribute to Mesoamerican cultures. Proponents of this idea suggest that the skulls might have been used as tools for healing, divination, or communication with otherworldly beings. Others go further, claiming that the skulls hold hidden knowledge or even prophecies about humanity's future. It's a narrative that's as captivating as it is unverifiable, but not everyone is convinced. Scientific analysis of crystal skulls, including the Mitchell Hedges skull, has revealed some surprising details. Microscopic examination shows that the skulls were likely carved using modern tools like rotary wheels and diamond-tipped drills, techniques that weren't available to ancient Mesoamerican cultures. Additionally, the type of quartz used in many of these skulls can be traced to specific regions in Europe and Brazil, not the areas where they were supposedly discovered. These findings have led many experts to conclude that the skulls are likely 19th century creations, crafted to satisfy a growing fascination with ancient artifacts during that time. What makes the crystal skull debate so fascinating is the way it straddles the line between fact and fiction. For some, the skulls are a tangible link to a mysterious past filled with secrets waiting to be unlocked. For others, they're a testament to human ingenuity and the power of storytelling crafted to captivate and mystify. The truth may lie somewhere in between. Could the skulls have been inspired by ancient traditions, even if they weren't created in ancient times? Mesoamerican cultures did have a deep reverence for skulls, often using them as symbols of regeneration and the cycle of life. It's possible that the crystal skulls were meant to evoke these spiritual themes, even if they were made centuries later. The crystal skulls remind us that the line between history and myth is often blurred. Whether they're ancient relics or modern masterpieces, they continue to spark curiosity and debate, inviting us to explore the boundaries of what we know and what we're willing to believe. As we examine these enigmatic objects, we're left to wonder, do they hold secrets from a forgotten past, or are they simply a reflection of our own fascination with the unknown? The answer, much like the skulls themselves, remains shrouded in mystery. In the sun-baked plains of Peru, a collection of stones has ignited one of the most heated debates in the world of archaeology and paleontology. Known as the Ica stones, these enigmatic artifacts are etched with intricate carvings that seem to depict humans living alongside dinosaurs. From towering Tyrannosaurus rex to long-necked Brachiosaurus, the images are as vivid as they are perplexing. How could ancient people have known about creatures that went extinct millions of years before humans walked the earth? The Ica stones challenge our understanding of history in ways that are as thrilling as they are controversial. The story of the Ica stones begins in the 1960s when a local farmer named Basilio Ashuya began selling them to tourists and collectors. According to Ashuya, the stones were discovered in a nearby cave, buried beneath layers of soil and rock. The carvings, which number in the thousands, vary from simple geometric patterns to elaborate scenes of humans hunting, riding, and even performing medical surgeries on dinosaurs. The level of detail is astonishing, with each stone telling a story that seems to defy the timeline of life on Earth. But here's where the mystery deepens. If these stones are genuine, what do they mean for our understanding of human history? One of the most compelling theories suggests that the Ica stones could be evidence of a lost civilization, one that somehow coexisted with dinosaurs or possessed knowledge of these ancient creatures. Proponents of this idea argue that the stones' depictions are too precise to be mere coincidences or artistic flights of fancy. Could there have been a culture lost to time that discovered dinosaur fossils and recorded their findings in stone? It's a tantalizing possibility, but one that raises more questions than answers. How would such a civilization have uncovered fossils without the tools and technology we have today? And why haven't we found other evidence of their existence? Skeptics, however, have a different take. Many believe the Ica stones are a modern hoax, crafted to capitalize on the public's fascination with dinosaurs and ancient mysteries. Ashuya himself admitted in the 1970s that he had carved some of the stones himself, using contemporary tools and his own imagination. Yet he also claimed that not all the stones were his work, leaving room for doubt about their true origins. Some researchers have pointed out that the stone's surfaces show signs of modern tool marks, and the depictions of dinosaurs often resemble illustrations from mid-20th century books rather than scientific reconstructions. If the stones are a hoax, they're a remarkably elaborate one, blending artistry and storytelling in a way that continues to captivate. What adds to the intrigue is the cultural context of the Ica region. The area is rich in ancient history, with evidence of advanced civilizations like the Nazca and Paracas cultures. Could the stones be a modern reinterpretation of ancient myths or symbols, blending local traditions with contemporary ideas? The Nazca Lines, not far from Ica, are a testament to the creativity and ingenuity of these cultures. Could the stones be another example of their artistic expression, misunderstood or misrepresented over time? The debate over the Ica stones isn't just about their authenticity, it's about what they represent. For some, they're a tantalizing glimpse into a past where humans and dinosaurs might have walked the same earth, or at least where ancient people imagined they did. For others, they're a reminder of how easily myth and reality can intertwine, especially when it comes to the mysteries of our ancient world. Whether they're genuine artifacts or clever forgeries, the Ica stones challenge us to think critically about the stories we tell about the past and the stories we're willing to believe. As we examine these enigmatic carvings, we're left to wonder, could the truth about the Ica stones be as extraordinary as the images they bear? The answer, like the stones themselves, remains etched in mystery. In the rugged mountains of California, a discovery in the early 1960s sparked a mystery that continues to baffle scientists and enthusiasts alike. Known as the COSO artifact, this strange object was found embedded in a geode, a naturally formed rock with a hollow interior lined with crystals. At first glance, it looks like a modern spark plug, complete with a ceramic insulator and a metallic core. But here's the twist: the geode surrounding it is estimated to be around 500,000 years old. How could a spark plug, a device that didn't exist until the 19th century, end up encased in rock from an era when humans were yet to walk the earth? The answer, if there is one, remains as elusive as the artifact itself. The story begins with three rockhounds, Wallace Lane, Virginia Maxey, and Mike Mikesell, who were exploring the COSO Mountains for mineral specimens. When they cracked open what appeared to be an ordinary geode, they were stunned to find the spark plug-like object inside. X-ray analysis later revealed that the artifact consisted of a porcelain shell, a metallic shaft, and a hexagonal base, components that closely resemble those of a modern spark plug. But the age of the geode, determined through geological testing, placed its formation long before humans could have crafted such a device. This contradiction has fueled a debate that ranges from the plausible to the extraordinary. One of the most intriguing theories is that the COSO artifact could be evidence of advanced ancient technology. Could a civilization lost to time have developed machinery requiring spark plugs 500,000 years ago? Proponents of this idea point to similar anomalies like the Antikythera Mechanism as proof that ancient peoples possessed knowledge far beyond what we've traditionally credited them with. If true, the COSO artifact would suggest that humanity's technological timeline is far more complex and far older than we've ever imagined. But where is the rest of the evidence? Without additional artifacts or records to support this theory, it remains a tantalizing possibility rather than a proven fact. Another, more speculative explanation involves extraterrestrial intervention. Could the artifact be a piece of alien technology left behind by visitors from another world? This idea taps into the broader fascination with ancient astronauts and the possibility that extraterrestrials might have influenced human history. While it's an exciting notion, it's also one that lacks concrete evidence. Skeptics argue that the COSO artifact is more likely a modern object that became embedded in the geode through natural processes, such as mineral deposits forming around it over time. They point to the fact that spark plugs have been in use since the late 19th century, and it's possible that the artifact was simply lost or discarded in the area, eventually becoming encased in the geode. What adds to the intrigue is the question of how the artifact ended up inside the geode in the first place. Geodes form over thousands or even millions of years, with minerals slowly crystallizing around a hollow space. For a spark plug to become encased in such a formation, it would have had to be present during the geode's earliest stages of development, long before humans existed. This paradox has led some researchers to suggest that the artifact might not be a spark plug at all, but rather a natural formation that coincidentally resembles one. Yet the precision of its design and the materials it's made from make this explanation difficult to accept without further evidence. The COSO artifact doesn't just challenge our understanding of history, it invites us to reconsider the boundaries of what we think is possible. Whether it's evidence of an advanced ancient civilization, a relic of extraterrestrial contact, or simply a modern object caught in a geological anomaly, this artifact reminds us that the past is full of mysteries waiting to be unraveled. As we examine its enigmatic details, we're left to wonder, could there be more artifacts like this hidden in the Earth's layers, waiting to rewrite the story of human progress? The COSO artifact is a puzzle that continues to spark curiosity, debate, and imagination, proving that sometimes the most extraordinary discoveries come in the most unexpected forms. Deep within the ancient temple complex of Dendera, Egypt, lies a carving that has sparked one of the most fascinating debates in the study of ancient technology. Known as the Dendera Light, this intricate relief depicts a scene that some interpret as an early form of electric lighting. The image shows a large, bulb-like object supported by a pillar, with a snake-like filament inside and a cable-like line connecting it to what appears to be a power source. To modern eyes, it's hard not to see the resemblance to a light bulb, but could the ancient Egyptians have truly understood and harnessed electricity, or is this simply a case of seeing what we want to see? The temple itself, dedicated to the goddess Hathor, dates back to the Ptolemaic period around 2,000 years ago. The relief in question is part of a larger series of carvings that decorate the temple's crypts, each one rich with symbolism and meaning. According to mainstream Egyptologists, the so-called light bulb is actually a symbolic representation of a lotus flower, a common motif in Egyptian art. The snake inside the bulb-like shape is thought to represent the god Harsomptos, often depicted as a serpent emerging from a lotus, symbolizing creation and rebirth. In this interpretation, the entire scene is a spiritual allegory, not a technological blueprint. But for those who see the Dendera light as evidence of ancient electricity, the symbolism takes on a very different meaning. One of the most compelling arguments for the electrical theory comes from the resemblance between the carving and modern-day Crookes tubes, an early type of vacuum tube used in the study of electricity. Proponents of this idea suggest that the Egyptians might have used similar devices to produce light, perhaps filling them with gas or other materials to create a glowing effect. They point to the lack of soot or smoke stains in certain parts of the temple as evidence that traditional torches or oil lamps weren't used everywhere, leaving room for alternative lighting methods. Could the Dendera light be a record of such technology, preserved in stone for future generations to interpret? Skeptics, however, are quick to point out the challenges of this theory. For one, there's no archaeological evidence of wires, batteries, or any other components that would support the idea of ancient electricity. The Egyptians were undoubtedly skilled engineers, as seen in their construction of the pyramids and other monumental structures, but electrical technology would have required a level of metallurgical and scientific knowledge that seems beyond their reach. Additionally, the relief's placement within a sacred space suggests it was meant to convey spiritual, not practical, knowledge. The temple's carvings are filled with gods, myths, and rituals. Hardly the place you'd expect to find a technical diagram. What makes the Dendera light so intriguing is the way it straddles the line between fact and interpretation. For some, it's a tantalizing glimpse into a past where ancient civilizations might have achieved technological feats we've only recently mastered. For others, it's a reminder of how easily we can project modern ideas onto ancient symbols, seeing patterns that may not have been intended. The truth likely lies somewhere in between. Could the carving have been inspired by some form of advanced knowledge, even if it wasn't electricity as we understand it today? Or is it simply a beautiful example of Egyptian artistry, rich with meaning that we're still working to decode? As we examine the Dendera light, we're reminded that the past is full of mysteries that resist easy answers. Whether it's a depiction of ancient technology or a profound spiritual symbol, this artifact challenges us to think differently about the capabilities and creativity of ancient cultures. And perhaps that's the real power of the Dendera light, not in proving the existence of ancient electricity, but in sparking our curiosity and imagination. encouraging us to explore the boundaries of what we think we know about history. The carving story is far from over, and its secrets may still shine light on the hidden chapters of our shared human journey. In the quiet farmlands of Minnesota, a discovery was made in 1898 that would ignite a fierce debate about the history of North America. The Kensington runestone, a slab of greywacke stone weighing over 200 pounds, is etched with runes, an ancient form of Norse writing. According to the inscription, a group of Norse explorers ventured deep into the continent in the year 1362, long before Columbus set sail. If genuine, this artifact would rewrite the history of European exploration in the Americas. But is it a genuine relic of Viking presence or an elaborate hoax designed to stir the imagination? The story of the Kensington runestone is as layered as the runes carved into its surface. The stone was discovered by a Swedish immigrant named Olof Oman while clearing trees on his property. According to Oman, the stone was lodged in the roots of an ancient tree, suggesting it had been there for centuries. The runic inscription tells a dramatic tale. A group of 8 Goths and 22 Norwegians embarked on a journey west from Vinland, the Norse settlement in present-day Newfoundland, and encountered a tragic end. The inscription reads, in part, 8 Goths and 22 Norwegians on a journey of exploration from Vinland very far west. We had camped by 2 skerries 1 day's journey north from this stone. We were out fishing one day. After we came home, found 10 men red with blood and dead. AVM save us from evil. The mention of Vinland, a known Norse settlement, adds credibility to the stone's claims, but it's the date 1362 that raises eyebrows. Could Norse explorers have traveled so far inland and so late in history? Supporters of the stone's authenticity point to the linguistic and historical evidence. The runes used on the stone are consistent with medieval Norse scripts, and the language reflects a mix of Old Swedish and Old Norse, which would align with the time period. Additionally, the stone's discovery near a network of waterways suggests that Norse explorers could have navigated inland using rivers and lakes, much like later European explorers. Some even argue that the stone's weathering and the way it was found embedded in the roots of an old tree indicate it had been there for centuries, not just decades. These details lend weight to the idea that the Kensington runestone is a genuine artifact, a silent witness to a forgotten chapter of history. However, skeptics have raised significant doubts. Critics argue that the runes contain grammatical errors and inconsistencies that wouldn't be expected from a genuine medieval inscription. Some of the symbols used are anachronistic, more reminiscent of 19th century runic revival styles than authentic medieval scripts. There's also the question of motive. Why would Norse explorers venture so far inland, and why would they leave such a detailed record of their journey? Some believe the stone was a clever forgery, perhaps created by Oman himself or others in the local Scandinavian community, to establish a connection between their heritage and the new land they had settled in. The timing of the discovery, amid a wave of Scandinavian immigration to the Midwest, adds fuel to this theory. What makes the Kensington runestone so compelling is the way it straddles the line between history and myth. For some, it's a tangible link to a past where Norse explorers might have ventured far beyond the coast, leaving behind a cryptic message for future generations. For others, it's a reminder of how easily history can be shaped by our desires and imaginations. The stone's story invites us to consider not just the artifact itself, but the broader questions it raises about how we interpret the past. Are we uncovering truth, or are we crafting narratives that reflect our own hopes and identities? As we examine the Kensington runestone, we're left with more questions than answers. Could it be proof of a Norse expedition into the heart of North America, or is it a testament to the power of storytelling and cultural pride? the stone's mystery endures, challenging us to look beyond the surface and explore the deeper truths of history. Whether it's a genuine artifact or a masterful hoax, the Kensington runestone reminds us that the past is never as simple as it seems, and that sometimes the most enduring stories are the ones that remain just out of reach. Tucked away in the ruins of the ancient Minoan palace of Phaistos on the island of Crete lies one of the most perplexing artifacts ever discovered, the Phaistos disc. Unearthed in 1908 by Italian archaeologist Luigi Pernia, this small clay disc, roughly the size of a dinner plate, is covered on both sides with a spiral of stamped symbols, 45 distinct characters in total, arranged in what appears to be a deliberate sequence. Dating back to around 1700 BC, the disc is a masterpiece of ancient craftsmanship, but its purpose and meaning have eluded scholars for over a century. What could these symbols represent? Are they a language, a code, or something entirely different? The Phaistos disc is a riddle wrapped in clay, and its secrets remain tantalizingly out of reach. At first glance, the disc's symbols are both familiar and alien. Some resemble human figures, animals, and objects like shields or arrows, while others are more abstract, resembling spirals, dots, or geometric shapes. The symbols are arranged in groups separated by lines, suggesting they might form words or phrases. Yet, despite decades of study, no one has been able to definitively translate the text. This has led to a wide range of theories about what the disc might represent. Could it be a religious hymn, a prayer, or a ritual incantation? Perhaps it's a record of historical events, a legal document, or even a piece of ancient literature. The possibilities are as endless as they are speculative. One of the most compelling theories is that the Phaistos disc is a form of early writing, possibly linked to Linear A, the script used by the Minoan civilization. Linear A, like the disc's symbols, remains undeciphered, and some researchers believe the two might share a common origin. If true, this would mean the disc is a rare example of Minoan writing, offering a glimpse into a culture that thrived over 3,000 years ago. However, the disc's symbols don't match any known script, and its uniqueness has made it nearly impossible to compare to other texts. This has led some to suggest that the disc might be a one-of-a-kind creation, perhaps a personal artifact or a ceremonial object with a highly specific purpose. Another intriguing possibility is that the disc served as a calendar or an astronomical tool. The spiral arrangement of the symbols could represent the cyclical nature of time, with each group of symbols marking a specific period or event. Some researchers have even proposed that the disc might have been used to track celestial movements, helping the Minoans predict seasons or plan agricultural activities. This theory is supported by the disc's circular shape, which mirrors the cycles of the sun, moon, and stars. Yet, without a key to decode the symbols, this remains just one of many tantalizing possibilities. Skeptics, however, have raised questions about the disc's authenticity. Some argue that the symbols are too uniform to have been created by hand, suggesting they might have been stamped using a kind of movable type, a technology that wouldn't be widely used until centuries later. If true, this would make the Phaistos disc an astonishingly early example of printing, far ahead of its time. Others have gone further, suggesting the disc might be a modern forgery, created to capitalize on the fascination with ancient mysteries. While there's little evidence to support this claim, the debate highlights just how enigmatic the disc truly is. What makes the Phaistos disc so captivating is not just its mystery, but the questions it raises about human communication and creativity. Why would someone go to such lengths to create an artifact that no one else could understand? Was it meant to convey knowledge, preserve a story, or simply inspire awe? The disc's symbols are a testament to the ingenuity of the Minoan civilization, but they're also a reminder of how much we still have to learn about the ancient world. As we examine this enigmatic artifact, we're left to wonder, could the key to unlocking its secret still be out there, waiting to be discovered? The Phaistos disc doesn't just challenge our understanding of history, it invites us to explore the boundaries of what we think we know about language, culture, and the human desire to leave a lasting mark on the world. Rising from the rolling hills of Elbert County, Georgia, stands a monument that feels as if it were pulled straight from the pages of a sci-fi novel. The Georgia Guidestones, often referred to as America's Stonehenge, consist of 4 massive granite slabs supporting a central capstone, each inscribed with messages in 8 different languages. Erected in 1980, this enigmatic structure has sparked endless debate, speculation, and even conspiracy theories. Who created it? What was its purpose? And why does it feel like a message meant for a future we can't yet imagine? Let's unravel the mysteries of this modern-day artifact where the past, present, and future seem to collide. At first glance, the Guidestones appear to be a practical guide for humanity, offering 10 principles etched into the granite in English, Spanish, Swahili, Hindi, Hebrew, Arabic, Chinese, and Russian. These principles range from straightforward advice like maintain humanity under 500,000,000 in perpetual balance with nature, to more cryptic directives such as guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. The messages are both hopeful and cautionary, as if written by someone who envisioned a future where humanity faced existential challenges. But who would go to such lengths to create a monument like this, and why remain anonymous? The mystery deepens when we consider the origins of the Guidestones. The monument was commissioned by a man using the pseudonym R.C. Christian, who claimed to represent a small group of Americans with a shared vision for the future. Christian worked with a local granite company to design and erect the stones, but his true identity and the identities of his associates remain unknown. This anonymity has fueled speculation about the group's motives. Were they idealists hoping to inspire future generations, or was there a more ominous agenda behind their creation? The lack of concrete answers has turned the Guidestones into a magnet for conspiracy theories, with some suggesting they're tied to secret societies or even extraterrestrial influence. One of the most intriguing aspects of the Guidestones is their alignment with astronomical features. The central pillar features a hole that aligns with the North Star, and a slot in the capstone allows sunlight to pass through, marking the solstices and equinoxes. This precision suggests that the creators had a deep understanding of astronomy, adding another layer of sophistication to the monument. Some interpret this as evidence that the Guidestones are more than just a message, they're a tool, perhaps intended to guide future civilizations in rebuilding a sustainable world after a catastrophic event. But not everyone sees the Guidestones as a benevolent project. Critics argue that the messages, particularly those about population control, carry a chilling undertone. The idea of limiting humanity to 500 million people has led some to label the monument as elitist or even dystopian. Others have gone further, claiming that the Guidestones are part of a larger plan to control or reduce the global population. These theories, while unproven, highlight the tension between interpreting the stones as a hopeful blueprint for the future and seeing them as a warning or even a threat. What makes the Georgia Guidestones so compelling is the way they blur the line between the mundane and the extraordinary. On one hand, they're a simple granite monument in rural Georgia. On the other, they're a cosmic riddle, a message in a bottle cast into the future by an unknown hand. Whether they're a guide for a post-apocalyptic world, a philosophical statement, or something else entirely, the Guidestones challenge us to think about the legacy we're leaving for future generations. What would we want to say to those who come after us, and how would we ensure our message endures? As we stand before these towering slabs of granite, we're reminded that the past is never truly behind us, it's always shaping the future. The Georgia Guidestones are more than just a monument. They're a mirror reflecting our hopes, fears, and the enduring human desire to leave a mark on the world. Whether they're a beacon of wisdom or a puzzle waiting to be solved, their story is far from over. And perhaps in their enigmatic silence, they're asking us to consider what kind of world we want to build and what kind of message we want to leave behind. Deep in the Zhejiang province of China lies an underground marvel that has left archaeologists and engineers utterly baffled since its discovery in 1992. The Longyu Caves, a sprawling network of hand-carved caverns, stretch across an area of over 30,000 square meters, their walls and ceilings meticulously chiseled with a precision that defies the era in which they were created. Dating back over 2,000 years, these caves are not just a feat of ancient engineering, they're a mystery that challenges our understanding of history. Who built them? Why were they constructed with such care? And how did ancient people achieve such astonishing accuracy without modern tools? The Longyu Caves are a puzzle carved in stone, and their secrets are as deep as the earth itself. The first thing that strikes you about the Longyu Caves is their sheer scale. Each of the 24 caverns discovered so far is massive, with some reaching heights of up to 30 meters, roughly the size of a 10-story building. The interior walls are adorned with intricate patterns of parallel chisel marks, a testament to the painstaking labor that went into their creation. But what's truly remarkable is the uniformity of these marks. The grooves are evenly spaced and perfectly aligned, suggesting a level of craftsmanship that rivals modern techniques. How did ancient workers achieve such precision, especially in the dim light of oil lamps or torches? The answer remains as elusive as the caves themselves. One of the most compelling questions surrounding the Longyu Caves is their purpose. Unlike other ancient underground structures, which were often used as tombs, temples, or storage facilities, these caverns show no signs of ritualistic or practical use. There are no artifacts, no inscriptions, and no evidence of human habitation. This has led to a wide range of theories about why they were built. Some researchers suggest they might have been used for mining, possibly to extract a valuable resource like clay or stone. Others propose they were created as a form of hydraulic engineering, perhaps to manage water flow in the region. Yet, the lack of any clear evidence leaves these ideas in the realm of speculation. Another possibility is that the caves served a ceremonial or symbolic purpose. The precision and symmetry of the carvings suggest that they were meant to convey something important, even if we don't yet understand what that might be. Could they have been a place of spiritual significance where ancient people gathered for rituals or ceremonies? Or were they a testament to the power and ambition of a long-forgotten ruler designed to awe and inspire? The absence of written records adds to the mystery, leaving us to piece together clues from the caves themselves. What makes the Longyu Caves even more enigmatic is the question of how they were constructed. The sheer volume of rock removed, estimated at over 1 million cubic meters, would have required an enormous workforce and a level of organization that seems almost impossible for the time. Yet, there's no historical record of such a project, nor any evidence of the tools or techniques used. Some researchers have suggested that the caves might have been created using a method called fire setting, where rock is heated and then rapidly cooled to make it easier to break apart. But even this explanation doesn't fully account for the precision and uniformity of the carvings. It's as if the caves were made by a civilization with knowledge and technology far beyond what we've traditionally attributed to ancient China. The Longyu Caves are more than just an archaeological curiosity. They're a reminder of how much we still have to learn about the ingenuity and capabilities of ancient cultures. Their existence challenges us to rethink our assumptions about history and the limits of human achievement. As we explore these underground wonders, we're left to wonder what other secrets might be hidden beneath the surface, waiting to be uncovered. The Longyu Caves don't just invite us to dig deeper into the earth, they invite us to dig deeper into the past, uncovering stories that might rewrite the narrative of human history. And perhaps in their silent, stone-carved halls, they're asking us to consider what we might yet discover about ourselves. In the dusty plains of southern Iraq, archaeologists have uncovered a collection of artifacts that seem to defy explanation. Known as the Ubaid lizardmen figurines, these small clay statues depict humanoid figures with distinctly reptilian features, slanted eyes, elongated heads, and in some cases what appear to be tails. Dating back to around 5000 BC, these figurines were crafted by the Ubaid culture, a civilization that predates even the Sumerians. But what do these strange depictions represent? Are they symbolic deities, artistic expressions, or could they hint at something far more extraordinary, like ancient encounters with extraterrestrial beings? The Ubaid lizardmen are a mystery that blurs the line between myth and reality. At first glance, the figurines are both fascinating and unsettling. Their reptilian characteristics are unmistakable, with some holding babies or nursing infants, suggesting a role in daily life or ritual practices. The Ubaid culture, known for its early advancements in agriculture and settlement, left behind few written records, leaving us to interpret these artifacts through their craftsmanship alone. The level of detail in the figurines is striking, from the intricate patterns on their bodies to the lifelike poses they're depicted in. But what were they meant to convey? Were they idols of worship, symbols of fertility, or perhaps warnings against mythical creatures? The lack of context makes it difficult to say for certain. One of the most intriguing theories is that the Ubaid lizardmen represent ancient gods or mythological beings. Many cultures around the world have stories of serpent-like deities or reptilian figures, often associated with creation, wisdom, or the underworld. For the Ubaid people, these figurines could have served as intermediaries between the human and divine realms, embodying the power and mystery of the natural world. The reptilian features might symbolize transformation, fertility, or even immortality, themes that resonate across many ancient belief systems. Yet, without written records or additional artifacts to provide context, this interpretation remains speculative. Another, more provocative idea is that the figurines depict extraterrestrial visitors. Proponents of the ancient astronaut theory point to the reptilian features as evidence of contact with beings from another world. Could the Ubaid people have encountered extraterrestrials, interpreting their appearance in the form of these figurines? This theory taps into a broader fascination with the idea that ancient civilizations might have had interactions with advanced beings, leaving behind clues in their art and artifacts. While this idea is undeniably captivating, it's also highly controversial, with most mainstream archaeologists dismissing it as pseudoscience. Skeptics argue that the figurines are more likely symbolic or artistic representations, perhaps inspired by the natural world. Reptiles were abundant in the region, and their unique characteristics might have inspired the Ubaid artisans to create these hybrid figures. Alternatively, the figurines could represent shamanistic practices, with the reptilian features symbolizing spiritual transformation or otherworldly journeys. The Ubaid culture's proximity to water and marshlands, home to snakes and lizards, might have influenced their iconography, turning these creatures into powerful symbols within their cosmology. What adds to the intrigue is the question of why these figurines were created in the first place. Were they used in rituals, placed in homes as protective talismans, or buried with the dead to guide them in the afterlife? The Ubaid lizardmen are a reminder that ancient art often served multiple purposes, blending the practical with the spiritual in ways that we're still working to understand. Their enigmatic features invite us to explore not just the Ubaid culture, but the broader human impulse to create and imagine beings that transcend our everyday reality. As we examine these figurines, we're left to wonder, what inspired the Ubaid people to craft such unusual depictions? Were they capturing something they saw, or were they expressing ideas that resonated deeply within their culture? The Ubaid lizardmen challenge us to think differently about the past, reminding us that ancient civilizations were capable of profound creativity and imagination. Whether they represent gods, myths, or something beyond our understanding, these figurines are a testament to the enduring power of art to connect us with the mysteries of our ancestors. And perhaps in their silent, reptilian gaze, they're asking us to consider what other secrets might lie buried in the sands of time. Nestled among the artifacts of a Native American settlement in Maine lies a small, unassuming coin that has sparked one of the most fascinating debates in North American archaeology. Known as the Maine penny, this silver piece dates back to the 11th century and bears the unmistakable markings of Norse craftsmanship. Its discovery in a site linked to the indigenous Penobscot people raises a tantalizing question. Could this be evidence of direct contact between Vikings and Native Americans long before Columbus set foot in the New World? The Maine penny is a tiny artifact with a story that could reshape our understanding of ancient exploration. The coin was unearthed in 1957 during an excavation of the Goddard site, a prehistoric Native American settlement on the coast of Maine. At first glance, it looks like any other medieval coin, featuring a cross on one side and a stylized image of a king on the other. But its origins trace back to Norway, specifically the reign of King Olaf Kyrre, who ruled from 1067 to 1093. This makes the Maine penny the only confirmed Norse artifact ever found in the United States outside of Newfoundland, home to the famous Viking settlement at Elance Orks Meadows. So how did a coin minted in medieval Norway end up in a Native American settlement thousands of miles away? One of the most compelling explanations is that the coin arrived through trade. The Vikings, known for their seafaring prowess, established settlements in Greenland and briefly in Newfoundland. It's possible that they ventured further south, bringing goods and perhaps coins to trade with indigenous peoples. The Goddard site was a thriving hub of regional trade, with evidence of goods from as far away as the Great Lakes and the Midwest. If the Norse did reach Maine, even briefly, they might have exchanged items like the Maine penny with local tribes, embedding a piece of their culture into the fabric of Native American history. However, not everyone is convinced. Skeptics argue that the coin could have arrived through indirect means, such as trade networks that stretched across North America. Native American tribes were known to exchange goods over vast distances, and it's possible the Maine penny traveled through multiple hands before reaching the Goddard site. Some even suggest that the coin might have been a modern-day intrusion, accidentally dropped or planted during the excavation. Yet, the coin's context within the site, alongside other artifacts dating to the same period, lends credibility to its ancient origins. What makes the Maine penny so intriguing is the broader question it raises about the extent of Norse exploration in North America. While Elance Orks Meadows proves that Vikings reached the continent, the Maine penny hints at the possibility that their travels went further. Could they have sailed along the eastern seaboard, making contact with indigenous peoples along the way? If so, what other traces of their presence might still be hidden, waiting to be discovered? The coin is a tantalizing clue, but it's also a reminder of how much we still don't know about the interactions between early explorers and the indigenous cultures they encountered. As we examine the Maine penny, we're reminded that history is often written in fragments, small, seemingly insignificant pieces that, when put together, tell a much larger story. Whether it's proof of direct Norse contact or a testament to the vast trade networks of ancient North America, This coin challenges us to think differently about the connections between cultures and the journeys that brought them together. The main penny doesn't just sit in a museum case. It invites us to imagine the hands it passed through and the stories it could tell. And perhaps in its silent, silver surface, it holds the key to unlocking a chapter of history we've only just begun to explore. In the quiet banks of the Mureș River in Romania, a discovery was made in 1974 that would leave archaeologists and scientists utterly perplexed. Known as the Aod artifact, this wedge-shaped metal object was found buried under layers of sediment, encased in rock that dates back over 10,000 years. What makes this artifact so extraordinary isn't just its age, it's the fact that it appears to be made of aluminum, a metal that wasn't produced by humans until the 19th century. How could such an advanced material exist in a time when humanity was still in the Stone Age? The Aod artifact is a mystery that seems to defy the very timeline of human progress. When researchers first examined the artifact, they were struck by its unusual composition. Aluminum, as we know it today, requires an intricate industrial process to extract and refine, involving high temperatures and advanced technology. Yet, this object, with its smooth, machined surfaces and precise edges, suggests a level of metallurgical knowledge that shouldn't have existed 10 millennia ago. The artifact's shape, wedge-like with a series of holes and grooves, has led some to speculate that it might have been part of a larger mechanism, perhaps a tool or even a component of ancient machinery. But what kind of civilization could have created such a thing? One of the most compelling theories is that the Aod artifact could be evidence of a lost civilization, one that mastered metallurgy and engineering long before any known culture. Proponents of this idea point to other archaeological anomalies, like the Antikythera Mechanism or the Baghdad Battery, as proof that ancient peoples might have achieved technological feats we've yet to fully understand. Could the Aod artifact be a relic from this forgotten society, a fragment of their ingenuity left behind for us to discover? It's a tantalizing thought, but one that raises as many questions as it answers. Where is the rest of the evidence for such a culture? Why haven't we found more artifacts like this? Another, more speculative explanation involves extraterrestrial origins. Could the artifact be a piece of technology left behind by visitors from another world? This theory taps into the broader fascination with ancient astronauts and the idea that extraterrestrials might have influenced human history. While it's an exciting notion, it's also one that lacks concrete evidence. Skeptics argue that the artifact might have a more mundane explanation, such as a modern object that became embedded in ancient rock through natural processes. But even this doesn't fully account for the artifact's composition or its apparent age. What adds to the intrigue is the question of how the artifact ended up in the Mureș River. If it's truly ancient, what was its purpose? Was it a tool, a ceremonial object, or something else entirely? The lack of context makes it difficult to say for certain. Some researchers have suggested that the artifact might have been part of an ancient aircraft or vehicle, pointing to its aerodynamic shape as evidence. Others believe it could have been used in construction or mining, given its sturdy design and metal composition. Yet, without more information, these ideas remain speculative. The Aod artifact doesn't just challenge our understanding of history, it invites us to reconsider the boundaries of what we think is possible. Whether it's evidence of a lost civilization, a relic of extraterrestrial contact, or simply a modern object caught in a geological anomaly, this artifact reminds us that the past is full of mysteries waiting to be unraveled. As we examine its enigmatic details, we're left to wonder, could there be more objects like this hidden in the Earth's layers, waiting to rewrite the story of human progress? The Aod artifact is a puzzle that continues to spark curiosity, debate, and imagination, proving that sometimes the most extraordinary discoveries come in the most unexpected forms. Imagine looking up at the sky one day and seeing a glowing, fiery disk hovering above, its light casting shadows across the land. For the ancient Egyptians, this wasn't the stuff of science fiction. It was a reality recorded in a mysterious document known as the Tully Papyrus. This ancient text, dating back to the reign of Pharaoh Thutmose III around 1500 BC, describes a startling event: strange objects appearing in the sky, emitting fire and smoke as they moved with unnatural precision. Could this be one of the earliest recorded UFO sightings in human history, or is it simply a misinterpretation of a natural phenomenon? The Tully Papyrus is a tantalizing mystery that blurs the line between myth and reality. The story begins in 1933 when Alberto Tully, then the director of the Egyptian section of the Vatican Museum, reportedly discovered the papyrus in a Cairo antique shop. Unable to purchase the original, he copied its contents, and it's this transcription that has survived to this day. The text describes an extraordinary event. In the year 22, in the third month of winter, during the 6th hour of the day, the scribes of the House of Life noticed a circle of fire coming from the sky. It had no head, and its breath had a foul odor. It had a length of 1 rod and a width of 1 rod. It made no sound. The objects reportedly multiplied, filling the sky before eventually disappearing. The account is vivid, detailed, and utterly baffling. For those who believe in ancient astronaut theories, the Tully Papyrus is a smoking gun, proof that extraterrestrials visited Earth long before modern UFO sightings. The description of fiery disks aligns strikingly with contemporary accounts of UFOs, and the idea that ancient civilizations might have documented such encounters is both thrilling and unsettling. Could the Egyptians have witnessed advanced technology from another world, interpreting it through the lens of their own understanding? Proponents of this theory argue that the papyrus offers a rare glimpse into a moment when humanity came face to face with the unknown. However, skeptics aren't so quick to accept the papyrus as evidence of extraterrestrial visitations. For one, the original document has never been found, leaving us to rely solely on Tully's transcription. This lack of physical evidence has led some to question the papyrus's authenticity, suggesting it might be a modern forgery or a mistranslation of a more mundane event. Others propose that the fiery disks could have been a natural phenomenon, such as a meteor shower or an atmospheric anomaly. Ancient cultures often interpreted unusual celestial events as omens or divine messages, and it's possible the Tully Papyrus reflects this tendency rather than an actual UFO sighting. What makes the Tully Papyrus so compelling is the way it invites us to consider the possibilities of the past. Whether it's a genuine record of an otherworldly encounter or a poetic description of a natural event, the document challenges us to think differently about how ancient cultures interpreted the world around them. The Egyptians were meticulous record keepers, documenting everything from the rise and fall of the Nile to the movements of the stars. If they saw something extraordinary in the sky, it's likely they would have recorded it. But how they understood that event is a question we may never fully answer. As we examine the Tully Papyrus, we're reminded that history is often a tapestry of fact and interpretation, woven together by the threads of human curiosity and imagination. Whether it's a glimpse of ancient UFOs or a reflection of the mysteries of the natural world, this enigmatic document continues to spark debate and fascination. It's a reminder that the past is never as simple as it seems, and that sometimes the most extraordinary stories are the ones that remain just out of reach. The Tully Papyrus doesn't just challenge our understanding of history, it invites us to look up at the sky and wonder what other secrets might be waiting to be uncovered. Deep in the jungles of Colombia, a collection of golden artifacts has ignited one of the most intriguing debates in the world of archaeology. Known as the Quimbaya artifacts, these small, intricately crafted objects date back to around 1000 CE and were created by the Quimbaya civilization, a pre-Columbian culture renowned for their goldsmithing skills. At first glance, they appear to be stylized birds or insects, but upon closer inspection, their shapes bear an uncanny resemblance to modern airplanes. With sleek, aerodynamic wings, tails, and even what look like landing gear, these artifacts have led some to wonder, could the Quimbaya people have possessed knowledge of flight, or is this simply a case of artistic coincidence? The Quimbaya artifacts are a mystery that soars between the realms of history and imagination. The first thing that strikes you about these artifacts is their precision. Each piece is crafted with meticulous detail, from the curves of the wings to the symmetry of the body. The resemblance to aircraft is so striking that when replicas of these artifacts were tested in wind tunnels, they demonstrated stable flight characteristics. This has led some researchers to propose that the Quimbaya people might have had an understanding of aerodynamics, possibly inspired by observing birds or even experimenting with flight themselves. It's a tantalizing idea, especially when you consider that the Wright brothers wouldn't achieve powered flight for another 900 years. But how likely is it that an ancient civilization could have unlocked the secrets of flight? One of the most compelling theories is that the artifacts represent symbolic or spiritual objects rather than functional designs. The Quimbaya culture often depicted animals and mythical creatures in their art, and it's possible that these airplane-like figures are stylized representations of birds, insects, or even spiritual beings. For example, the hummingbird, a sacred animal in many South American cultures, is known for its rapid, darting flight traits that could have inspired the aerodynamic shapes of the artifacts. Alternatively, the figures might symbolize transformation or the journey of the soul, with their sleek forms representing movement between realms. This interpretation aligns with the Quimbaya's known religious practices, which often involved rituals and offerings tied to the natural world. On the other hand, some researchers have gone further, suggesting that the artifacts could be evidence of ancient contact with advanced civilizations, or even extraterrestrial visitors. Proponents of this theory argue that the precision of the designs and their aerodynamic properties are too advanced to be mere artistic expressions. Could the Quimbaya have encountered beings with knowledge of flight, inspiring them to create these artifacts as a form of homage or record? While this idea is undeniably captivating, it's also highly speculative, with little concrete evidence to support it. Most mainstream archaeologists dismiss the notion, pointing instead to the Quimbaya's skill and creativity as the likely explanation for the artifact's unique designs. What adds to the intrigue is the question of how the Quimbaya achieved such precision in their craftsmanship. Working with gold is no small feat, especially without modern tools. The artisans would have had to melt, shape, and polish the metal with incredible care, using techniques passed down through generations. The fact that these artifacts have survived for over a millennium is a testament to their skill, but it also raises questions about the knowledge and inspiration behind their designs. Were they simply creating beautiful objects, or were they capturing something more profound, perhaps an understanding of flight that we've yet to fully appreciate? The Quimbaya artifacts don't just challenge our understanding of history, they invite us to reconsider the boundaries of human ingenuity. Whether they're symbolic representations, artistic expressions, or something more extraordinary, these golden figures remind us that the past is full of mysteries waiting to be uncovered. As we examine their sleek forms and ponder their purpose, we're left to wonder, could the skies have once been within reach for the Quimbaya people, even if only in their dreams? The artifact story is far from over, and their secrets continue to inspire curiosity, debate, and imagination. In their golden glow, we see not just the craftsmanship of an ancient culture, but the enduring human desire to explore, create, and soar beyond the limits of what we think is possible. In the rolling hills of Austria, buried deep within layers of coal that date back millions of years, a discovery was made in 1885 that continues to defy explanation. Known as the wolf's egg iron, this small cube-shaped object has sparked debates that range from the scientific to the sensational. Found in a coal seam that formed during the Tertiary period, long before humans walked the Earth, the artifact raises a tantalizing question. How could a man-made object, or at least something resembling one, end up embedded in rock that predates humanity by millions of years? The wolf's egg iron is a mystery that challenges our understanding of time, technology, and the possibility of ancient civilizations or even extraterrestrial visitors. At first glance, the artifact is unassuming. Measuring just a few centimeters across, it has a rough, metallic surface and a shape that appears unnaturally geometric. When it was first examined, researchers noted its iron composition and the presence of grooves or indentations that seemed to suggest it had been crafted rather than formed naturally. The coal deposits where it was found are estimated to be between 20 and 60 million years old, placing the object in a time when humans, let alone metalworkers, were non-existent. This contradiction has led to a wide range of theories about its origins, each more intriguing than the last. One of the most compelling explanations is that the wolf's egg iron is a product of advanced ancient technology, created by a civilization that predates recorded history. Proponents of this idea point to other archaeological anomalies, such as the Antikythera Mechanism or the Baghdad Battery, as evidence that ancient peoples might have achieved technological feats we've yet to fully understand. Could the wolf's egg iron be a relic from this lost society, a fragment of their ingenuity left behind for us to discover? It's a tantalizing thought, but one that raises significant questions. Where is the rest of the evidence for such a culture? Why haven't we found more artifacts like this? Another theory, even more speculative, involves extraterrestrial intervention. Could the cube be a piece of technology left behind by visitors from another world? This idea taps into the broader fascination with ancient astronauts and the possibility that extraterrestrials might have influenced human history. While it's an exciting notion, it's also one that lacks concrete evidence. Skeptics argue that the artifact might have a more mundane explanation, such as a natural geological formation that coincidentally resembles a man-made object. Iron nodules, for example, can form in coal deposits, and under certain conditions, they might take on shapes that appear artificial. But even this explanation doesn't fully account for the artifact's precise geometry or the grooves on its surface. What adds to the intrigue is the question of how the wolf's egg iron ended up in the coal seam in the first place. If it's truly ancient, what was its purpose? Was it a tool, a ceremonial object, or something else entirely? The lack of context makes it difficult to say for certain. Some researchers have suggested that the artifact might have been part of an ancient mining operation, perhaps dropped or discarded by workers in a time long forgotten. Others believe it could be a natural formation shaped by the forces of geology over millions of years. Yet, without more information, these ideas remain speculative. The wolf's egg iron doesn't just challenge our understanding of history, it invites us to reconsider the boundaries of what we think is possible. Whether it's evidence of a lost civilization, a relic of extraterrestrial contact, or simply a natural anomaly, this artifact reminds us that the past is full of mysteries waiting to be unraveled. As we examine its enigmatic details, we're left to wonder, could there be more objects like this hidden in the Earth's layers, waiting to rewrite the story of human progress? The wolf's egg iron is a puzzle that continues to spark curiosity, debate, and imagination, proving that sometimes the most extraordinary discoveries come in the most unexpected forms. Hidden away in the rugged landscapes of Nepal lies an artifact that seems to have leapt straight out of a science fiction story, the Lolodov Plate. This mysterious stone disc, roughly the size of a dinner plate, is etched with a peculiar figure that bears an uncanny resemblance to the modern image of an extraterrestrial being. With its large, almond-shaped eyes, slender body, and what appears to be a flying saucer hovering nearby, the Lolodov Plate has become a focal point for those who believe in ancient astronaut theories. But is this artifact genuine evidence of extraterrestrial contact, or is it an elaborate hoax designed to capture our imagination? Let's explore the story behind this enigmatic object and the questions it raises about humanity's past. The Lolodov Plate first came to light in the mid-20th century, reportedly discovered by a Polish professor named Sergei Lolodov during his travels in Nepal. According to the story, Lolodov acquired the plate from a local who claimed it had been passed down through generations as a sacred relic. The intricate carvings on the disc depict not only the alien-like figure, but also a series of spirals and symbols that some interpret as a form of ancient writing or celestial mapping. The figure's pose, with arms outstretched and a serene expression, has led many to speculate that it represents a being from another world, perhaps a visitor or even a teacher to early humans. But how reliable is this story and what evidence supports it? One of the most striking aspects of the Lolodov Plate is its resemblance to modern depictions of extraterrestrials. The figure's large head, elongated limbs, and otherworldly features align almost perfectly with the grey alien archetype popularized in UFO lore. This has led some to suggest that the plate could be evidence of ancient encounters with extraterrestrial beings, preserved in stone for future generations to interpret. Proponents of this theory argue that the spiral pattern surrounding the figure might represent spacecraft or cosmic phenomena, further supporting the idea of an otherworldly connection. But without more context or corroborating artifacts, this interpretation remains speculative. However, not everyone is convinced of the plate's authenticity. Skeptics point to the lack of verifiable documentation about its discovery and the absence of similar artifacts in the archaeological record. The story of Sergei Lolodov himself is shrouded in mystery, with no concrete evidence to confirm his existence or his travels in Nepal. Some researchers believe the plate could be a modern creation, crafted to capitalize on the growing fascination with UFOs and ancient astronaut theories during the mid-20th century. The precision of the carvings, while impressive, doesn't necessarily prove their antiquity. Modern tools could have been used to achieve the same effect. What makes the Lolodov Plate so fascinating is the way it blurs the line between history and myth. If genuine, it could be a rare glimpse into a time when humans interacted with beings from beyond our world, recording their experiences in stone. If not, it's a testament to the power of human creativity and our enduring fascination with the unknown. The plate's enigmatic figure invites us to consider the possibility that ancient cultures might have encountered or imagined entities that we now associate with extraterrestrial life. Whether it's a relic of ancient contact or a modern work of art, the Lolodov Plate challenges us to think differently about the stories we tell about our past. As we examine this intriguing artifact, we're reminded that history is often a blend of fact and interpretation, shaped by the questions we ask and the perspectives we bring. The Lolodov Plate doesn't just challenge our understanding of ancient cultures, it invites us to explore the boundaries of what we think we know about humanity's place in the cosmos. Whether it's a genuine artifact or a masterful hoax, its story continues to captivate, reminding us that the past is full of mysteries waiting to be uncovered. And perhaps in its silent, carved details, the Lolodov Plate is asking us to look beyond the stars and consider what other secrets might be out there, waiting to be discovered. Imagine stumbling upon a tool that seems to belong to a modern workshop, only to discover it's embedded in rock older than the dinosaurs. That's exactly what happened in 1844, when a curious object known as the Kingoody hammer was unearthed in Scotland. This small, iron-headed hammer, complete with a wooden handle, was found encased in sandstone dating back over 400 million years, a time when life on Earth was just beginning to take its first steps out of the oceans. How could such an object exist in rock that predates humanity by hundreds of millions of years? The Kingoody hammer is a mystery that challenges our understanding of time, technology, and the very nature of history itself. At first glance, the hammer appears unremarkable. Its design is simple, with a metal head and a handle that, though partially petrified, still bears the unmistakable marks of human craftsmanship. But its context is anything but ordinary. The sandstone in which it was found is part of the Devonian period, a time when fish were the dominant life forms and land plants had just begun to take root. This raises an immediate and perplexing question. How did a clearly man-made object end up encased in rock from an era long before humans or even mammals walked the earth? One of the most intriguing theories suggests that the Kingoody hammer could be evidence of a lost advanced civilization, one that thrived millions of years before recorded history. Proponents of this idea point to other anomalous artifacts, like the Antikythera Mechanism or the Baghdad Battery, as proof that ancient peoples might have achieved technological feats we've yet to fully understand. Could the hammer be a relic from this forgotten society, a fragment of their ingenuity left behind for us to discover? It's a tantalizing thought, but one that raises significant questions. Where is the rest of the evidence for such a culture? Why haven't we found more artifacts like this? Another, more speculative explanation involves the concept of time travel. Could the hammer have been transported from a more recent era into the distant past, perhaps through some kind of natural or technological anomaly? This idea taps into the broader fascination with the possibility of time travel, a concept that has captured the human imagination for centuries. While it's an exciting notion, it's also one that lacks concrete evidence and remains firmly in the realm of science fiction. Skeptics argue that the hammer might have a more mundane explanation, such as a modern object that became embedded in the sandstone through natural processes like mineral deposition. What adds to the intrigue is the question of how the hammer ended up in the sandstone in the first place. If it's truly ancient, what was its purpose? Was it a tool used by a civilization that has since vanished, or is it evidence of something even more extraordinary? The lack of context makes it difficult to say for certain. Some researchers have suggested that the hammer might have been part of an ancient mining operation, perhaps dropped or discarded by workers in a time long forgotten. Others believe it could be a natural formation shaped by the forces of geology over millions of years. Yet, without more information, these ideas remain speculative. The Kingoody hammer doesn't just challenge our understanding of history, it invites us to reconsider the boundaries of what we think is possible. Whether it's evidence of a lost civilization, a relic of time travel, or simply a natural anomaly, this artifact reminds us that the past is full of mysteries waiting to be unraveled. As we examine its enigmatic details, we're left to wonder, could there be more objects like this hidden in the Earth's layers, waiting to rewrite the story of human progress? The Kingoody hammer is a puzzle that continues to spark curiosity, debate, and imagination, proving that sometimes the most extraordinary discoveries come in the most unexpected forms. Deep in the highlands of Bolivia, a peculiar stone bowl was discovered in the 1950s, sparking a debate that continues to captivate archaeologists and historians. Known as the Fuente Magna Bowl, this artifact is unlike anything else found in the region. Its surface is adorned with intricate carvings, but what truly sets it apart are the inscriptions etched into its interior, symbols that bear a striking resemblance to Sumerian cuneiform, one of the earliest known writing systems. How did a bowl inscribed with ancient Mesopotamian script end up thousands of miles away in South America? The Fuente Magna Bowl is a mystery that challenges our understanding of ancient exploration and the connections between distant civilizations. At first glance, the bowl's design is both elegant and enigmatic. Made of a single piece of stone, it features two distinct sets of symbols, one resembling Proto-Sumerian script and the other reminiscent of local Bolivian petroglyphs. The Sumerian-like inscriptions are particularly intriguing as they suggest a link between the ancient cultures of Mesopotamia and the Americas, a connection that, if proven, would rewrite the history of global exploration. Could this bowl be evidence of early transoceanic contact, or is it a case of cultural convergence where two distant societies developed similar writing systems independently? The answer is as elusive as the bowl's origins. One of the most compelling theories is that the Fuente Magna Bowl could be a relic of ancient trade or migration. Sumer, located in modern-day Iraq, was one of the world's first great civilizations, known for its advancements in writing, agriculture, and architecture. Could Sumerian explorers or traders have ventured across the oceans, bringing their language and culture to the Americas? Proponents of this idea point to similarities between Sumerian and Mesoamerican myths, as well as evidence of advanced seafaring knowledge in ancient Mesopotamia. If true, this would mean that long before Columbus or even the Vikings, ancient peoples were capable of crossing vast distances and bridging continents. However, not everyone is convinced. Skeptics argue that the inscriptions might not be Sumerian at all, but rather a form of local symbolism that coincidentally resembles cuneiform. The Fuente Magna Bowl was found near Lake Titicaca, a region rich in pre-Columbian history and home to the Tiwanaku civilization. It's possible that the bowl's carvings are a unique blend of local artistry and abstract design, created long before any known contact with the Old World. Without additional artifacts or corroborating evidence, this theory remains speculative, but it raises important questions about how we interpret ancient symbols and their meanings. What adds to the intrigue is the question of what the bowl was used for. Some researchers suggest it might have been a ceremonial object, perhaps used in rituals or as a vessel for offerings. The combination of Sumerian-like script and local motifs could indicate a blending of cultures or beliefs, with the bowl serving as a bridge between two worlds. Others propose it could have been a diplomatic gift, exchanged between leaders of distant lands as a symbol of alliance or respect. The bowl's dual inscriptions hint at a deeper story, one where the lines between history and myth begin to blur. As we examine the Fuente Magna Bowl, we're reminded that the past is full of surprises, and that the connections between ancient civilizations might be more complex than we've ever imagined. Whether it's proof of early transoceanic contact or a testament to the universality of human creativity, this enigmatic artifact invites us to rethink what we know about the journeys our ancestors might have taken. The bowl's story is far from complete, and its secrets continue to inspire curiosity and debate. In its silent, carved symbols, we see not just the craftsmanship of an ancient culture, but the enduring human desire to connect, explore, and leave a mark on the world. The Fuente Magna Bowl doesn't just challenge our understanding of history, it invites us to imagine the untold stories that might still be waiting to be uncovered. Nestled deep within the mines of South Africa, a discovery has baffled scientists and sparked endless speculation. Known as the grooved spheres, these small metallic objects are unlike anything else found in the geological record. Measuring just a few centimeters in diameter, they feature intricate grooves and ridges that seem almost too precise to be natural. What makes them even more extraordinary is their age. These spheres are estimated to be over 2 billion years old, a time when life on Earth was in its infancy. How could such objects exist in a world that predates complex organisms, let alone advanced technology? The grooved spheres are a mystery that challenges our understanding of Earth's ancient past. The first thing that strikes you about these spheres is their craftsmanship. The grooves, which run along their surfaces in perfect symmetry, suggest a level of precision that's hard to attribute to natural processes. Some of the spheres are made of pyrophyllite, a soft mineral, while others are composed of a nickel-steel alloy, a material that doesn't occur naturally in that form. This has led some researchers to propose that the spheres might be evidence of an advanced ancient civilization, one that existed long before humans walked the Earth. Could these objects be remnants of a forgotten society, or perhaps even extraterrestrial in origin? The idea is as thrilling as it is controversial. On the other hand, many geologists argue that the grooved spheres are simply the result of natural geological processes. Over billions of years, minerals can form in unique and unpredictable ways, sometimes creating shapes that appear artificial. The grooves, they suggest, might be the result of weathering or crystallization, while the metallic composition could be explained by the presence of iron-rich deposits in the area. If this is the case, the spheres are a fascinating example of nature's ability to mimic human-made objects, blurring the line between the organic and the constructed. What adds to the intrigue is the question of their purpose. If the grooved spheres are indeed man-made or made by some other intelligent force, what were they used for? Some theories suggest they could have been part of a larger machine or mechanism, perhaps a tool or even a form of ancient currency. Others propose they might have had a ceremonial or symbolic function, representing something significant to their creators. Without more context or additional artifacts, these ideas remain speculative, but they invite us to imagine a world where advanced technology might have existed long before we thought possible. The debate over the grooved spheres isn't just about their origins, it's about what they represent. For some, they're a tantalizing clue that our understanding of Earth's history is incomplete, hinting at the possibility of lost civilizations or even extraterrestrial visitors. For others, they're a reminder of how easily we can project meaning onto natural phenomena, seeing patterns where none exist. Whatever the truth, these enigmatic objects challenge us to think differently about the past and the forces that have shaped our planet. As we examine these ancient metallic spheres, we're left to wonder, could they be a glimpse into a forgotten chapter of Earth's history, or simply a testament to the mysteries of the natural world? The answer, much like the spheres themselves, remains shrouded in the mists of time. What if the stones beneath our feet could tell stories not through carvings or inscriptions, but through sound itself? This is the central idea behind the enigmatic stone tape theory, a concept that suggests certain stones might have the ability to record and replay sounds, much like an ancient, natural version of a modern recording device. While the scientific community remains skeptical, the theory has captured the imagination of many, offering a tantalizing glimpse into the possibility that the past might still echo around us. Could the walls of ancient ruins or the very rocks we walk on hold memories of long-forgotten voices, footsteps, or even music? Let's delve into this intriguing idea and explore what it might mean for our understanding of energy, memory, and the unseen forces that shape our world. The stone tape theory first gained traction in the 1970s, inspired by the work of British archaeologist and parapsychologist Thomas Charles Lethbridge. Lethbridge proposed that inanimate objects, particularly stones, could absorb emotional or energetic imprints from their surroundings, storing them like a magnetic tape. These imprints, he suggested, could later be played back under the right conditions, manifesting as ghostly sounds, apparitions, or other paranormal phenomena. While the theory has never been scientifically validated, it has become a popular explanation for hauntings and other unexplained events, offering a bridge between the physical and the metaphysical. One of the most compelling aspects of the stone tape theory is its connection to quartz, a mineral found abundantly in many types of rock. Quartz is known for its piezoelectric properties, meaning it can generate an electric charge in response to mechanical stress. This characteristic has made quartz a key component in modern technology, from watches to microphones. Could this same property allow quartz-rich stones to record sounds or other energetic vibrations? Proponents of the theory argue that under the right conditions, such as intense emotional events or dramatic environmental changes, stones might absorb and store these vibrations, replaying them when triggered by changes in temperature, pressure, or other factors. It's an idea that blurs the lines between science and speculation, inviting us to reconsider how we think about the boundaries of the natural world. However, not everyone is convinced. Critics argue that the stone tape theory lacks empirical evidence and relies heavily on anecdotal accounts. Many paranormal experiences attributed to stone tape phenomena can often be explained by more conventional means, such as auditory pareidolia, the tendency to interpret random sounds as meaningful, or environmental factors like infrasound, which can create unsettling sensations in humans. Additionally, the idea that stones could store and replay complex sounds or images raises significant questions about the nature of energy and memory. How would such a system work on a molecular level, and why hasn't it been observed in controlled experiments? These challenges have kept the theory firmly in the realm of pseudoscience, though its imaginative appeal persists. What makes the stone tape theory so captivating is the way it taps into our fascination with the unseen and the unexplained. It invites us to imagine a world where the past isn't just preserved in artifacts or written records, but in the very fabric of the environment around us. Could the whispers of ancient civilizations still linger in the stones of their ruins, waiting for the right moment to be heard? Or are these echoes simply the product of our own imaginations, a way of making sense of the mysterious and the unknown? The theory doesn't just challenge our understanding of the physical world, it challenges us to think differently about how we connect with history, memory, and the stories that shape our lives. As we explore the mysteries of the stone tape theory, we're reminded that the past is never truly silent. Whether through the stories we tell, the artifacts we uncover, or the echoes we imagine, history continues to speak to us in ways that are as profound as they are mysterious. The stones beneath our feet may not hold the secrets we dream of, but they remind us that the world is full of wonders waiting to be discovered. And perhaps in their quiet, unyielding presence, they invite us to listen, not just to the sounds of the past, but to the stories we tell ourselves about who we are and where we've come from. Let's circle back to the Baghdad Battery, one of the most debated artifacts in the world of ancient mysteries. While we've touched on its potential as an early electrical device, new research and experiments are breathing fresh life into the conversation. Could this unassuming clay jar, copper cylinder, and iron rod have been more than just a curiosity? Let's explore some of the latest theories that might just rewrite its story. One of the most intriguing possibilities is that the Baghdad Battery was used for electroplating, a process where one metal is coated with another using an electric current. This idea isn't as far-fetched as it might seem. Ancient artisans were known to gild objects with gold or silver, and while traditional methods like mercury amalgam were common, some researchers suggest that the battery could have provided a simpler, more controlled way to achieve the same effect. Experiments have shown that when filled with an acidic solution like vinegar or lemon juice, The Baghdad Battery can produce a small but measurable electric current enough to facilitate basic electroplating. Imagine ancient craftsmen using this technology to adorn jewelry, statues, or even ceremonial objects with a shimmering layer of gold. It's a fascinating thought, but one that raises another question. If this was its purpose, why haven't we found more evidence of similar devices? Another theory gaining traction is that the Baghdad Battery might have had medical applications. Ancient cultures, including the Parthians, were known to experiment with electricity in various forms. For example, the Greeks and Romans used electric fish to treat ailments like headaches and arthritis, believing the shocks had healing properties. Could the Baghdad Battery have been used to deliver mild electric currents for similar therapeutic purposes? Some researchers propose that it might have been employed in pain relief or even as a primitive form of electrotherapy. While there's no direct evidence to support this, it's not hard to imagine ancient healers experimenting with the mysterious power of electricity to treat their patients. After all, the line between medicine and magic was often blurred in the ancient world. But not everyone is convinced these theories hold water. Skeptics argue that the Baghdad Battery's design is too rudimentary to have been effective for either electroplating or medical treatments. Without additional components like wires or electrodes, it's unclear how the device would have been used in practice. Some even suggest that the artifact might have had a more mundane purpose, such as storing scrolls or sacred oils. The lack of similar artifacts or written records from the period only adds to the uncertainty. Could the Baghdad Battery be a red herring, a modern interpretation of an object that held an entirely different meaning for its creators? What makes the Baghdad Battery so compelling is the way it challenges us to think differently about the ingenuity of ancient cultures. Whether it was a tool for electroplating, a medical device, or something else entirely, this artifact reminds us that the past is full of surprises. It's a testament to human curiosity and the drive to experiment, even with the most basic materials. As we continue to study and debate its purpose, we're left to wonder, could this small clay jar be a glimpse into a world where ancient people harnessed electricity long before we thought possible? The Baghdad Battery doesn't just spark curiosity, it sparks imagination, inviting us to explore the boundaries of what we think we know about history. And perhaps in its silent, unassuming form, it holds the key to unlocking even more secrets of the ancient world. Now, let's revisit one of the most astonishing artifacts from the ancient world, the Antikythera Mechanism. This intricate device, often hailed as the world's first analog computer, has fascinated historians and scientists for over a century. But it's in recent years, thanks to modern reconstructions and cutting-edge technology, that we've begun to unlock even more of its secrets. What do these new discoveries reveal about the ingenuity of ancient Greek engineers and their understanding of the cosmos? Let's dive into the latest breakthroughs and see how they're reshaping our view of this extraordinary machine. Using advanced imaging techniques like X-ray tomography and 3D modeling, researchers have been able to peer inside the corroded fragments of the Antikythera mechanism with unprecedented clarity. What they've uncovered is a level of sophistication that rivals modern engineering. The mechanism wasn't just a simple calendar or a tool for predicting eclipses. It was a multifunctional device capable of tracking the movements of the sun, moon, and planets, as well as marking important astronomical events like the Olympic Games. Its intricate system of gears, some as small as a fingernail, worked in harmony to simulate the complex motions of celestial bodies. This wasn't just a calculator, it was a miniature model of the universe. One of the most groundbreaking discoveries is the mechanism's ability to predict lunar and solar eclipses with remarkable accuracy. By analyzing the positions of the sun and moon, the device could forecast these events years in advance, a feat that required a deep understanding of celestial mechanics. The Greeks didn't just observe the heavens, they quantified their movements, using mathematics to create a machine that could mimic the rhythms of the cosmos. This level of precision suggests that the Antikythera Mechanism was more than just a scientific tool. It was a testament to the Greeks' belief in an orderly, predictable universe. But perhaps the most fascinating aspect of the mechanism is its potential connection to ancient philosophical ideas. The Greeks saw the cosmos as a harmonious system governed by mathematical laws, and the Antikythera Mechanism seems to embody this worldview. By creating a device that mirrored the heavens, they may have been seeking to understand their place in the universe, not just as passive observers, but as participants in a grand, interconnected design. This blend of science, philosophy, and artistry makes the Antikythera Mechanism not just a technological marvel, but a cultural artifact that reflects the values and aspirations of its creators. Modern reconstructions have also shed light on how the mechanism might have been used. Some researchers believe it was a teaching tool, helping students visualize the movements of the planets and the cycles of time. Others think it may have had a ceremonial or religious purpose, perhaps used in rituals or as a symbol of divine order. Whatever its original function, the mechanism's complexity suggests it was the work of a highly skilled craftsman, possibly working in a tradition of such devices that has since been lost to history. Could there have been other mechanisms like this, now buried or destroyed, that represented the pinnacle of ancient engineering? The possibility is both thrilling and humbling. As we continue to study the Antikythera Mechanism, we're reminded of how much we still have to learn about the ancient world. This device challenges our assumptions about the limits of ancient technology and invites us to reconsider what our ancestors were capable of. It's a reminder that the past is full of surprises and that the stories we tell about history are always evolving. With each new discovery, the Antikythera Mechanism becomes not just a relic of the past, but a beacon, guiding us toward a deeper understanding of human ingenuity and our timeless fascination with the stars. The Voynich Manuscript has long been one of history's most tantalizing puzzles. For centuries, this cryptic text, filled with strange illustrations and an unknown script, has defied every attempt at decipherment. But in recent years, advanced technologies like artificial intelligence have brought new hope to cracking its secrets. Could these cutting-edge tools finally unlock the meaning behind the manuscript's mysterious pages? Let's dive into the latest efforts to decode this ancient enigma and what they might reveal about its origins and purpose. Artificial intelligence has become a game-changer in the study of the Voynich Manuscript. Researchers are now using machine learning algorithms to analyze the text's patterns, comparing it to known languages and scripts in an attempt to identify similarities or hidden structures. One recent breakthrough came from a team that fed the manuscript's characters into an AI system designed to recognize linguistic patterns. Surprisingly, the AI detected a structure that resembled the syntax of natural languages, suggesting that the text might not be a random collection of symbols, but a coherent language or code. While the exact meaning remains elusive, this finding has reignited interest in the possibility that the manuscript could be a genuine, albeit highly obscure, form of communication. Another intriguing approach involves using AI to analyze the manuscript's illustrations alongside its text. The Voynich Manuscript is filled with bizarre drawings, unidentifiable plants, celestial charts, and even what appear to be bathing women. By cross-referencing these images with the accompanying text, researchers hope to uncover connections that might shed light on the manuscript's subject matter. For example, one theory suggests the text could be a medieval herbal guide, with the illustrations representing medicinal plants and their uses. AI is helping to identify potential matches between the drawings and real-world flora, though the results so far remain inconclusive. Still, this interdisciplinary approach offers a fresh perspective on a mystery that has stumped experts for generations. Despite these advances, not everyone is convinced that AI holds the key to solving the Voynich Manuscript. Some scholars argue that the text might be an elaborate hoax created to deceive or mystify. Without a Rosetta Stone-like key to compare it to, even the most sophisticated algorithms may struggle to crack its code. Others propose that the manuscript could be written in a constructed language, a personal cipher, or an invented script meant for private use. If true, this would make the text nearly impossible to decode without additional context. The debate highlights the challenges of applying modern technology to ancient mysteries, where the lack of historical records often leaves more questions than answers. What makes the Voynich Manuscript so captivating isn't just its indecipherable text, but the questions it raises about human creativity and communication. Why would someone go to such lengths to create a book that no one could read? Was it meant to protect valuable knowledge, or is it a relic of a culture whose language and symbols have been lost to time? As we continue to explore this enigmatic text with the help of AI and other advanced tools, we're reminded that the past is full of stories waiting to be uncovered. The Voynich Manuscript doesn't just challenge our understanding of history, it invites us to imagine the minds that created it and the world they lived in. And perhaps in its silent pages, it holds a message that has yet to be heard. Let's turn our attention back to the enigmatic Piri Reis Map, a relic that has fascinated historians and cartographers for centuries. While we've already marveled at its depiction of Antarctica and other coastlines with uncanny accuracy, recent research has shed new light on this ancient artifact, offering fresh insights into how it was created and where its extraordinary knowledge might have come from. These discoveries don't just deepen the mystery, they challenge us to rethink what we know about ancient exploration and the transmission of knowledge across cultures. One of the most exciting breakthroughs comes from advanced imaging techniques that have revealed previously unnoticed details on the map's surface. Hidden beneath centuries of wear and fading ink are faint markings that suggest multiple layers of information. Some of these additions appear to be corrections or updates, hinting that the map was a living document, revised over time as new knowledge became available. This discovery aligns with the idea that Piri Reis, the Ottoman admiral who compiled the map in 1513, relied on a variety of sources, some ancient, some contemporary, to create his masterpiece. But who provided these sources, and how did they possess such detailed geographical knowledge? Recent studies suggest that Piri Reis may have drawn from a mix of Mediterranean, Arabic, and even pre-Columbian maps. Some researchers believe he had access to ancient charts from the Library of Alexandria, a repository of knowledge lost to history but rumored to have contained detailed records of the world's geography. Others propose that he used maps brought to Europe by early explorers, including those who may have ventured far beyond the known boundaries of their time. The inclusion of Antarctica, a continent not officially discovered until the 19th century, has led some to speculate that these sources could have originated from a civilization with advanced maritime knowledge, one that predates recorded history. But here's where it gets even more intriguing. A closer examination of the map's annotations reveals that Piri Reis credited some of his information to "maps of the ancients," a phrase that has sparked endless debate. Could these ancient maps have been based on observations from a time when Antarctica was free of ice, as the map's depiction suggests? If so, this would imply a level of geographic knowledge that seems impossible for any known ancient civilization. Some have even suggested that these maps might have been passed down from a lost seafaring culture, one that explored the far reaches of the globe and recorded its findings in ways we're only beginning to understand. Another fascinating angle is the map's connection to the Age of Exploration. Piri Reis created his map during a time when European powers were racing to chart new territories and trade routes. His work reflects not just the knowledge of his own era, but also the remnants of earlier, perhaps even global, exploration efforts. The map's blend of old and new information suggests that the world was far more interconnected in pre-modern times than we often assume. It's a reminder that the exchange of knowledge across cultures has always been a driving force behind human progress. What makes these new discoveries so compelling is the way they challenge us to think differently about the past. The Piri Reis Map isn't just a relic of Ottoman cartography, it's a window into a world where ancient and medieval explorers shared knowledge across continents and centuries. As we continue to study this remarkable artifact, we're reminded that history is full of stories waiting to be uncovered. The map's secrets are far from exhausted, and each new finding brings us closer to understanding the extraordinary minds that charted the world long before modern technology made it seem so small. With every layer of ink and every faded line, the Piri Reis Map invites us to explore not just the geography of the past, but the boundless curiosity that drove humanity to map the unknown. As we soar above the arid plains of southern Peru, the Nazca Lines continue to captivate and mystify, their massive geoglyphs etched into the desert floor like a cosmic message waiting to be deciphered. While we've long marveled at their grandeur, recent studies have shed new light on these ancient wonders, uncovering patterns and purposes that challenge our understanding of the Nazca culture. What do these new insights reveal about the people who created these colossal designs, and why did they go to such extraordinary lengths to leave their mark on the Earth? Let's dive into the latest discoveries and what they tell us about one of history's most enduring mysteries. One of the most exciting breakthroughs comes from drone technology and satellite imaging, which have allowed researchers to map the Nazca Lines in unprecedented detail. These tools have revealed previously unseen geoglyphs, including intricate patterns and smaller designs that were hidden for centuries beneath the desert sands. Some of these newly discovered figures depict animals like cats, monkeys, and even a humanoid figure, while others consist of geometric shapes and lines that stretch for miles. These findings suggest that the Nazca Lines were far more extensive and complex than we ever imagined, offering a glimpse into the creativity and ambition of their creators. But what were these geoglyphs meant to achieve? While earlier theories focused on their possible astronomical or religious significance, recent research has introduced a new perspective. The Nazca Lines may have served as a form of communication, not with the gods but with the living. Some scholars propose that the lines and figures were part of a vast ritual landscape, used by the Nazca people to mark sacred spaces, guide processions, or commemorate important events. The sheer scale of the design suggests that they were meant to be seen and experienced collectively, perhaps during communal gatherings or ceremonies. This theory paints a vivid picture of a culture deeply connected to their environment, using the Earth itself as a canvas for their beliefs and traditions. Another fascinating idea is that the Nazca Lines were tied to water, a precious resource in the arid desert. Studies have shown that many of the geoglyphs are located near underground aquifers or natural water sources, leading some researchers to suggest that the lines were part of a hydrological system. The Nazca people, known for their sophisticated irrigation techniques, may have used the lines to map or manage water flow, ensuring the survival of their communities in a harsh and unpredictable climate. This practical interpretation adds a new layer of meaning to the geoglyphs, transforming them from mystical symbols into tools of survival and ingenuity. Of course, not everyone agrees on the purpose of the Nazca Lines. Some researchers argue that they were primarily artistic expressions, created to showcase the skill and creativity of the Nazca people. The precision and symmetry of the designs, even when viewed from the ground, suggest a deep understanding of geometry and proportion. Could the lines have been a form of ancient art meant to inspire awe and admiration? This theory reminds us that the Nazca Lines are not just a puzzle to be solved. They're a testament to the human desire to create and connect, even in the most challenging conditions. As we continue to study the Nazca Lines, we're reminded that the past is always more complex than it seems. These enigmatic geoglyphs are more than just a collection of shapes. They're a window into the lives, beliefs, and aspirations of a people who lived thousands of years ago. Whether they were meant to communicate with the divine, manage water, or simply inspire wonder, the Nazca Lines challenge us to think differently about the world around us and the stories it holds. With each new discovery, we come closer to understanding the minds behind these ancient masterpieces, but the mystery of their true purpose remains as elusive as ever. And perhaps in their silent, sprawling beauty, the Nazca Lines are asking us to look beyond the surface and imagine the world as they saw it, a place of endless possibility waiting to be shaped by human hands. Turning our attention back to the Shroud of Turin, recent advancements in scientific analysis have reignited the debate surrounding this enigmatic relic. For centuries, the shroud has been a source of fascination, controversy, and profound mystery. Believed by many to be the burial cloth of Jesus Christ, its faint, ghostly image of a crucified man has sparked endless speculation. Now, cutting-edge technologies are offering new perspectives on its origins and properties, shedding light on one of history's most enduring puzzles. One of the most significant developments comes from the use of advanced imaging techniques, such as high-resolution 3D scans and multispectral analysis. These methods have allowed researchers to examine the shroud in unprecedented detail, revealing subtle textures and patterns invisible to the naked eye. The results suggest that the image on the shroud isn't a painting or a stain, but rather a surface discoloration caused by some form of energy or chemical reaction. This finding aligns with earlier theories that the image might have been produced through a process akin to radiation or a burst of light, though the exact mechanism remains unclear. Could this be evidence of a miraculous event, or is there a scientific explanation we've yet to uncover? Another breakthrough involves the application of modern textile analysis to the shroud's fabric. Researchers have studied the weave, thread count, and dye composition, comparing them to known textiles from the 1st century in the Mediterranean region. The results indicate that the shroud's linen is consistent with fabrics from that era, supporting claims of its ancient origins. However, skeptics argue that these findings don't necessarily prove the shroud's authenticity, as similar materials could have been used in later periods. The debate continues, but the new data adds another layer of complexity to the mystery. Perhaps the most intriguing development is the re-examination of the shroud's controversial radiocarbon dating results from the late 1980s. Those tests placed the shroud's origin between the 13th and 14th centuries, leading many to dismiss it as a medieval forgery. However, recent studies have challenged these findings, pointing to potential contamination of the samples used in the original test. New analyses suggest that the shroud could be much older, possibly dating back to the time of Christ. While this doesn't definitively confirm its authenticity, it raises important questions about the reliability of earlier conclusions and the need for further investigation. What makes these new discoveries so compelling is the way they challenge us to think differently about the shroud story. For believers, the shroud remains a powerful symbol of faith, a tangible connection to one of the most pivotal moments in religious history. For skeptics, it's a fascinating artifact that continues to defy explanation, a testament to the ingenuity and creativity of its creators. the truth may lie somewhere in between, blending science, history, and spirituality in ways that resist easy categorization. As we continue to explore the mysteries of the Shroud of Turin, we're reminded that some questions don't have simple answers. Whether it's a miraculous relic or an elaborate medieval creation, the Shroud invites us to consider the boundaries of what we know and the possibilities of what we might yet discover. Its enigmatic image, etched in linen and history, continues to captivate and inspire, challenging us to look beyond the surface and explore the deeper truths of our shared human story. And perhaps in its silent, timeless presence, the Shroud holds secrets that are waiting for the right moment to be revealed. Now, let's revisit one of the most iconic archaeological mysteries of Central America, the stone spheres of Costa Rica. These perfectly rounded stone orbs, some weighing several tons, have fascinated researchers and visitors alike for decades. While we've long marveled at their craftsmanship and precision, recent discoveries and fresh perspectives are shedding new light on these enigmatic artifacts, offering deeper insights into the Diquis culture that created them and the purposes they might have served. One of the most compelling new theories revolves around the sphere's potential role in celestial navigation or astronomical observation. Researchers have started to map the positions of these spheres across various archaeological sites, noticing patterns that suggest they could have been arranged to align with celestial events like solstices or equinoxes. For a culture deeply connected to the cycles of nature, these alignments might have served as a kind of ancient calendar, helping the Diquis people track time and plan agricultural activities. Imagine standing among these massive stones, using them as markers to predict the changing seasons or the arrival of rains, an ingenious blend of art and science that speaks to the sophistication of their creators. But the sphere's purpose might not have been purely practical. Another fascinating theory suggests they held deep symbolic or spiritual significance. The Diquis culture, like many ancient societies, likely imbued their surroundings with meaning, and the spheres could have represented cosmic harmony or the balance between the earthly and the divine. Some researchers propose that the spheres were used in rituals or ceremonies, perhaps as focal points for communal gatherings or offerings. Their near-perfect roundness, a feat of engineering that still baffles modern experts, might have symbolized unity, eternity, or even the cycles of life and death. These interpretations remind us that the spheres weren't just objects, they were expressions of a worldview that we're still striving to understand. Equally intriguing is the question of how the Diquis people managed to create these spheres with such precision. Recent studies have focused on the tools and techniques they might have used, revealing a combination of ingenuity and perseverance. Using stone tools and abrasives, artisans would have painstakingly shaped the spheres over months or even years, relying on their knowledge of geometry and materials. The process likely involved a series of trial and error, with each sphere serving as a testament to the skill and dedication of its maker. What's more, the spheres were often placed in prominent locations, suggesting they were not just functional objects but also markers of status or power. Could they have been symbols of a ruler's authority, or perhaps a community's pride in their collective achievements? Yet, for all we're learning, the stone spheres of Costa Rica remain shrouded in mystery. Their exact purpose, the methods used to transport and position them, and the full scope of their cultural significance are questions that continue to spark debate. Some researchers believe they were part of a larger network of sacred sites, while others see them as standalone expressions of artistry and innovation. What's clear is that these spheres are more than just stones, they're windows into a culture that valued creativity, precision, and a deep connection to the world around them. As we explore these new theories, we're reminded that the past is full of stories waiting to be uncovered. The stone spheres of Costa Rica challenge us to think differently about the ingenuity of ancient cultures and the ways they sought to make sense of their world. Whether they were tools, symbols, or something yet to be discovered, these enigmatic artifacts invite us to imagine the hands that shaped them and the minds that conceived them. And perhaps in their silent, enduring presence, they hold secrets that are still waiting to be revealed. Now, let's revisit the enigmatic Dropa stones, a mystery that has long captivated both archaeologists and UFO enthusiasts alike. These peculiar stone discs, discovered in a remote cave in the Bayernha Mountains of China, are etched with tiny hieroglyphs that some claim tell the story of an extraterrestrial encounter. For decades, the Dropa stones have been shrouded in controversy, their origins debated, and their purpose speculated upon. But recent research has introduced new perspectives that challenge some of the earlier assumptions, offering a more nuanced understanding of these puzzling artifacts. One of the most intriguing developments comes from a closer examination of the hieroglyphs themselves. While earlier theories suggested the symbols were an ancient script describing a crashed alien spacecraft, modern linguistic analysis points to a different possibility. Some researchers now believe the markings could be a form of proto-writing or symbolic art, created by a local culture to record myths, rituals, or significant events. These symbols, though mysterious, may not be as otherworldly as once thought. Instead, they could represent a complex system of communication unique to the people who created them, a window into a long-lost way of understanding the world. Another angle gaining traction is the idea that the Dropa stones might have been part of a larger ceremonial or spiritual tradition. The Bayernha Mountains have long been a region steeped in folklore and legend, with stories of celestial beings and otherworldly encounters woven into the fabric of local culture. Could the stones have been used in rituals to honor or communicate with these beings? Some researchers suggest they might have served as talismans or sacred objects, imbued with symbolic meaning rather than literal descriptions. This interpretation shifts the focus from extraterrestrial theories to the rich spiritual and cultural practices of the region's ancient inhabitants. Yet, the debate over the stone's authenticity remains unresolved. Skeptics argue that the Dropa stones could be a modern creation, perhaps crafted to capitalize on the fascination with ancient astronauts during the mid-20th century. The lack of verifiable documentation surrounding their discovery and the absence of similar artifacts in the archaeological record have fueled doubts. Some even propose that the hieroglyphs could be natural weathering patterns or random scratches, misinterpreted as intentional markings. While these theories cast a shadow of skepticism, they also remind us of the importance of rigorous analysis when interpreting ancient artifacts. What makes the Dropa stones so compelling is their ability to spark imagination and debate. Whether they're evidence of ancient contact with extraterrestrial beings, a form of early symbolic communication, or even a modern hoax, they challenge us to think differently about the boundaries of human history and creativity. Each new perspective adds another layer to their story, inviting us to explore not just the stones themselves, but the cultures and minds that might have created them. As we continue to unravel the mysteries of the Dropa stones, we're reminded that the past is full of puzzles waiting to be solved. Their enigmatic symbols and the legends that surround them are a testament to the enduring human desire to seek meaning in the unknown. Whether they're a glimpse into an ancient encounter or a reflection of human ingenuity, the Dropa stones keep us asking questions, and sometimes the questions themselves are as valuable as the answers. Now, let's turn our attention back to the Saqqara bird, that small wooden artifact from ancient Egypt that has long sparked debates about its purpose. While we've previously explored its uncanny resemblance to a modern airplane, recent experiments have taken a closer look at its aerodynamic properties, offering fresh insights into what this enigmatic object might have been used for. Could it have been more than just a decorative piece or a child's toy? Let's dive into the latest findings and see what they reveal about the ingenuity of ancient Egyptian engineers. The Saqqara bird, discovered in the tomb of Padimen in 1898, has always stood out for its sleek, aerodynamic design. With its downward-angled wings and vertical tail fin, it looks remarkably like a glider or even a rudimentary aircraft. But was this intentional, or is it simply a coincidence? To answer this question, researchers have conducted wind tunnel tests and computer simulations to analyze how the Saqqara bird behaves in flight. The results are fascinating. The artifact demonstrates stable aerodynamic properties, capable of achieving lift and maintaining balance when launched into the air. This suggests that its design wasn't arbitrary. It was carefully crafted to interact with airflow in a way that mimics modern aviation principles. One of the most compelling theories emerging from these experiments is that the Saqqara bird might have been a model for a larger glider or even a ceremonial object inspired by the concept of flight. Ancient Egyptians were keen observers of nature, and their art often depicted birds in flight, symbolizing freedom, divinity, and the journey of the soul. Could the Saqqara bird have been an attempt to capture the essence of flight, not just as an artistic expression but as a practical exploration of aerodynamics? Some researchers believe so, arguing that the artifact might have been used in rituals or as a teaching tool to demonstrate the principles of flight to students or apprentices. But not everyone is convinced. Skeptics point out that the Saqqara bird's design, while aerodynamically sound, doesn't necessarily prove that ancient Egyptians understood or experimented with flight. The downward angle of the wings, for example, could simply reflect the posture of a bird at rest or in a dive, rather than an intentional design feature for gliding. Similarly, the vertical tail fin might be a stylistic choice rather than a functional element. Without additional evidence like other artifacts or records of flight experiments, it's difficult to say for certain whether the Saqqara bird was meant to fly or if its resemblance to modern aircraft is purely coincidental. What makes these new experiments so intriguing is the way they challenge us to think differently about ancient ingenuity. Even if the Saqqara bird wasn't a functional glider, its aerodynamic properties suggest a level of craftsmanship and observation that's remarkable for its time. The ancient Egyptians were masters of engineering, as seen in their monumental architecture and intricate machines. Could they have applied that same creativity to the concept of flight, even if only in a symbolic or experimental way? The possibility invites us to imagine a world where the skies were as much a source of wonder and exploration as the Earth and the stars. As we continue to study the Saqqara bird, we're reminded that the past is full of surprises waiting to be uncovered. Whether it was a toy, a ritual object, or a glimpse into an ancient understanding of flight, this artifact challenges us to think beyond the limits of what we know. Its story is a testament to human curiosity and the timeless desire to reach beyond the horizon. And perhaps in its silent, wooden form, the Saqqara bird holds secrets that are still waiting to take flight. Now, let's revisit an artifact that has puzzled scientists and sparked endless debate: the London hammer. Discovered in the mid-1930s in Texas, this small iron hammer was found encased in rock dating back over 100 million years. At first glance, it looks like a tool that could have been plucked from a modern workshop, but its ancient context has led to questions about how it could exist in a time when humans didn't yet walk the earth. Recent scientific analysis has shed new light on this enigmatic object, offering fresh perspectives on its composition and origins, and reigniting the debate about what it might truly represent. One of the most intriguing developments comes from metallurgical studies of the hammer's iron head. Researchers have discovered that the metal is unusually pure, lacking the impurities typically found in iron produced during the 19th or 20th centuries. This level of purity suggests a level of metallurgical sophistication that seems out of place for its supposed age. Could this mean the hammer was crafted using advanced techniques, perhaps by a civilization lost to time? While the idea is tantalizing, skeptics argue that the purity could also be the result of natural processes, such as the hammer being forged from meteoritic iron, which is known to have a unique composition. This theory adds a layer of complexity to the mystery, leaving us to wonder whether the hammer is a relic of ancient ingenuity or a product of nature's own craftsmanship. Another key finding involves the hammer's wooden handle, which has undergone a process of petrification over time. Detailed analysis reveals that the wood has been mineralized, transforming it into a stone-like material while preserving its original structure. This process typically takes millions of years, lending some credibility to the idea that the hammer is indeed ancient. However, critics point out that petrification can occur under specific conditions over much shorter timeframes, raising questions about the accuracy of dating the artifact based solely on its handle. The debate highlights the challenges of interpreting ancient objects, where even the most advanced scientific methods can leave room for uncertainty. What makes these new findings so compelling is the way they challenge our assumptions about history and technology. If the London hammer is genuinely ancient, what does it say about the capabilities of early humans or even pre-human civilizations? Could it be evidence of a society that mastered metallurgy and engineering long before recorded history? On the other hand, if it's a more recent object embedded in ancient rock through natural processes, it serves as a reminder of how geology can create anomalies that defy our expectations. Either way, the hammer invites us to think differently about the past and the stories it holds. As we continue to study the London hammer, we're reminded that history is full of mysteries waiting to be unraveled. Whether it's a relic of a lost civilization, a geological oddity, or something else entirely, this artifact challenges us to explore the boundaries of what we think we know. Each new discovery brings us closer to understanding its true story, but the hammer's enduring mystery keeps us asking questions, and perhaps in its silent, weathered form, it holds secrets that are still waiting to be uncovered, reminding us that the past is always more complex and more fascinating than it seems. Now, let's shine a new light on one of the most captivating and controversial artifacts in the world of ancient mysteries, the crystal skulls. These translucent, intricately carved objects have long been associated with Mesoamerican cultures like the Aztecs and Maya, often depicted as conduits of mystical energy or relics of extraterrestrial knowledge. But recent investigations are peeling back the layers of speculation, revealing fresh insights into their origins and the craftsmanship behind them. What do these new discoveries tell us about these enigmatic artifacts, and could they help us separate fact from fiction? Let's dive into the latest findings. One of the most significant breakthroughs comes from advanced microscopic analysis, which has provided a closer look at the skull's surfaces. Researchers have discovered tool marks that suggest the use of rotary wheels and diamond-tipped drills techniques that weren't available to ancient Mesoamerican cultures. These findings align with earlier studies that placed the creation of many crystal skulls in the 19th century, during a time when European artisans were crafting similar objects as curiosities for collectors. This doesn't necessarily diminish the skull's allure, but it does challenge the narrative that they are ancient relics imbued with supernatural powers. Could they instead be masterful examples of modern artistry, inspired by the mystique of ancient civilizations? Yet not all crystal skulls are created equal. Some, like the famous Mitchell-Hedges skull, continue to defy easy explanation. This skull, carved from a single block of clear quartz, is renowned for its incredible detail and symmetry, including a removable jawbone that modern craftsmen have struggled to replicate. While skeptics argue that it, too, may be a 19th century creation, others point to its unique properties, such as its ability to refract light in unusual ways, as evidence of something extraordinary. Could this skull be an exception, a genuine artifact from a lost culture, or is it simply the pinnacle of a skilled forger's craft? The debate continues, but the Mitchell-Hedges skull remains a focal point for those who believe in the possibility of ancient secrets. Another intriguing angle comes from the study of the quartz itself. The type of crystal used in many skulls can be traced to specific regions in Europe and Brazil, not the areas where they were supposedly discovered. This has led some researchers to suggest that the skulls might have been inspired by ancient traditions but crafted much later, perhaps as part of a broader fascination with exotic artifacts during the 19th century. This theory doesn't discount the cultural significance of the skulls, but reframes them as objects of curiosity and artistry rather than relics of ancient wisdom. It's a reminder that the line between history and myth is often shaped by the stories we choose to tell. What makes these new investigations so compelling is the way they invite us to think differently about the crystal skulls. Whether they're modern creations or ancient artifacts, they remain powerful symbols of human creativity and the enduring allure of the unknown. Their story challenges us to explore the boundaries of what we think we know about history, culture, and the ways we connect with the past. As we continue to uncover their secrets, we're reminded that the truth is often more nuanced and more fascinating than the legends that surround it. The crystal skulls don't just spark curiosity, they invite us to imagine the hands that shaped them and the stories they might still hold. And perhaps in their shimmering depths, they reflect not just the mysteries of the past, but our own timeless desire to uncover them. Now, let's revisit one of the most hotly debated artifacts in the world of ancient mysteries, the Ica stones. These peculiar stones, etched with images that seem to depict humans coexisting with dinosaurs, have long been dismissed by many as an elaborate hoax. But recently, new evidence has come to light that challenges this narrative, reigniting the debate about their origins and what they might reveal about humanity's ancient past. Could these enigmatic carvings hold more truth than we've given them credit for? Let's dig into the latest findings and what they mean for this ongoing mystery. The Ica stones first gained attention in the 1960s when a local farmer named Basilio Ashuya began selling them to collectors and tourists. The stones, which number in the thousands, feature intricate carvings of humans interacting with creatures that bear a striking resemblance to dinosaurs. Some scenes show people hunting or riding these ancient beasts, while others depict what appear to be advanced medical procedures or astronomical events. At the time, Ashuya admitted to carving some of the stones himself, but he also claimed that many were genuine artifacts created by an ancient civilization. This mix of confession and assertion left researchers divided, with most dismissing the stones as a clever forgery designed to capitalize on public fascination with dinosaurs and ancient mysteries. However, recent discoveries have added a new layer of complexity to the story. Advanced imaging techniques and mineral analysis have revealed that some of the stones show signs of weathering and patination consistent with being thousands of years old. These findings suggest that at least a portion of the Ica stones might be genuine artifacts created long before modern tools were available. This doesn't necessarily prove that the carvings depict real events, but it does raise questions about who created them and why. Could they be the work of an ancient culture with knowledge of dinosaurs, or do they represent something else entirely? One intriguing theory is that the Ica stones might be linked to the Nazca culture, which flourished in the same region around 2,000 years ago. The Nazca are best known for their massive geoglyphs, or Nazca Lines, which depict animals, plants, and geometric shapes visible only from the air. Some researchers propose that the Ica stones could be a form of portable art, carrying similar symbolic or spiritual meanings as the Nazca Lines. The dinosaur-like creatures in this view might not be literal depictions but rather symbolic representations of mythical beings or natural forces. This interpretation shifts the focus from the stone's literal content to their cultural and artistic significance, offering a fresh perspective on their purpose. But what about the more sensational claims? Could the Ica stones be evidence of ancient contact with dinosaurs? While this idea captures the imagination, most scientists remain skeptical. Dinosaurs roamed the Earth millions of years before humans, and there's no evidence to suggest that any civilization had knowledge of these creatures. Instead, some researchers propose that the carvings might have been inspired by fossils. The Ica region is rich in prehistoric remains, and it's possible that ancient people discovered dinosaur bones and interpreted them through the lens of their own beliefs and myths. This would make the stones not a record of coexistence, but a testament to human creativity and the desire to make sense of the natural world. What's clear is that the Ica stones continue to defy easy explanation. Whether they're genuine artifacts, elaborate forgeries, or a mix of both, they challenge us to think differently about the past and the stories it holds. Each new discovery adds another piece to the puzzle, but the full picture remains tantalizingly out of reach. As we examine these enigmatic carvings, we're reminded that history is rarely black and white. It's a mosaic of truths, myths, and mysteries waiting to be uncovered. The Ica stones don't just invite us to question what we know, they inspire us to imagine the possibilities of what we might yet discover. Deep in the dusty archives of ancient mysteries, the COSO artifact continues to captivate and confound. Discovered in the early 1960s embedded in a geode estimated to be 500,000 years old, this small, spark plug-like object has long been a source of heated debate. Was it evidence of advanced ancient technology, a relic of extraterrestrial visitors, or simply a modern object that found its way into ancient rock through geological processes? While earlier theories leaned heavily on the idea of lost civilizations or even time travel, new research has introduced fresh perspectives that challenge these assumptions while keeping the intrigue alive. One of the most compelling new theories centers on the artifact's composition. Recent metallurgical analysis has revealed that the COSO artifact is made of materials that could have been produced using early 20th century technology. The porcelain casing, metallic shaft, and hexagonal base closely resemble components of a spark plug from the 1920s or 30s. This has led some researchers to propose that the artifact might be a piece of industrial debris, perhaps from old mining equipment or discarded machinery. Over time, natural processes like mineral deposition could have encased it in rock, creating the illusion of an ancient origin. This explanation, while less sensational, offers a plausible and grounded alternative to the more speculative theories. However, not everyone is ready to dismiss the artifact's mysterious origins. Some researchers point to the unique conditions under which the geode formed. Geodes typically take thousands or even millions of years to develop, with minerals slowly crystallizing around a hollow space. For a modern object like a spark plug to become encased in such a formation, it would have had to be present during the geode's earliest stages long before humans existed. This paradox has led others to explore the possibility that the artifact could be a natural formation that coincidentally resembles a modern object. Iron nodules, for example, can form in coal deposits, sometimes taking on shapes that appear artificial. Yet, the precision of the COSO artifact's design makes this explanation difficult to accept without further evidence. Another intriguing angle comes from the study of similar anomalies found around the world. Artifacts like the London Hammer and the Ayod artifact have also been discovered in contexts that defy conventional timelines, suggesting that such objects might not be isolated cases. Could they be remnants of a forgotten chapter in human history, one where technological advancements occurred long before we thought possible? While mainstream archaeology remains skeptical, the idea invites us to reconsider the boundaries of what we think we know about ancient ingenuity. Perhaps these artifacts are glimpses into a past where human creativity and resourcefulness reached heights we've yet to fully understand. What makes the COSO artifact so fascinating is the way it blurs the line between the possible and the extraordinary. Whether it's a modern object caught in a geological anomaly or evidence of a lost civilization, it challenges us to think differently about the past and the stories it holds. Each new discovery, each fresh perspective, adds another layer to its mystery, keeping us engaged and curious. As we continue to explore the enigma of the COSO artifact, we're reminded that history is full of surprises, and that sometimes the most extraordinary discoveries come in the most unexpected forms. Its story is far from over, and its secrets continue to spark curiosity, debate, and imagination, proving that the past is always more complex and more fascinating than it seems. Now, let's return to the enigmatic dendrolite, a relief that has sparked endless fascination and debate among historians, archaeologists, and enthusiasts alike. Carved into the walls of the Temple of Hathor in Egypt, this ancient depiction has long been interpreted as evidence of advanced technology, perhaps even an early form of electric lighting. But recent studies have introduced fresh perspectives, offering a more nuanced understanding of this intriguing artifact. What do these new interpretations reveal about the ingenuity and symbolism of ancient Egyptian culture? Let's dive into the latest findings and explore the possibilities. For decades, the dendrolite has been a lightning rod for speculation. The relief shows what appears to be a bulb-like object supported by a pillar, with a snake-like filament inside and a cable-like line connecting it to a power source. To modern eyes, it's hard not to see a resemblance to a light bulb, and this has fueled theories that the ancient Egyptians might have harnessed electricity. Proponents of this idea point to the lack of soot in certain parts of the temple as evidence that traditional torches or oil lamps weren't used everywhere, leaving room for alternative lighting methods. Could the dendrolite be a record of ancient electrical knowledge, preserved in stone for future generations to interpret? However, mainstream Egyptologists have consistently offered a different explanation. According to their analysis, the so-called light bulb is more likely a symbolic representation of a lotus flower, a common motif in Egyptian art. The snake inside the bulb-like shape is thought to depict the god Harsamtus, often shown as a serpent emerging from a lotus, symbolizing creation and rebirth. In this view, the entire scene is a spiritual allegory, not a technical blueprint. Recent studies have reinforced this interpretation, using advanced imaging techniques to analyze the relief's details and placing it firmly within the context of Egyptian mythology and religious symbolism. But what if the truth lies somewhere in between? Some researchers propose that the dendrolite could be a blend of both worlds, a symbolic representation inspired by real-world observations. For example, the ancient Egyptians were keen observers of natural phenomena, and they might have been familiar with the properties of electricity through sources like electric fish or static discharge. Could the relief be an artistic interpretation of these experiences, merging scientific curiosity with spiritual meaning? This hybrid theory offers a fascinating middle ground, suggesting that the dendrolite might not be either a technological diagram or purely symbolic, but a reflection of the Egyptians' ability to weave science and spirituality into their art. Another intriguing angle comes from the study of the temple's architecture and the relief's placement. The dendrolite is located in a crypt, a space often associated with rituals and sacred knowledge. This has led some to suggest that the relief might have been part of a larger ceremonial landscape designed to convey hidden teachings or esoteric wisdom. The precise carvings and deliberate placement hint at a deeper purpose, one that goes beyond mere decoration. Could the Dendera light be a coded message intended to communicate ideas about the cosmos, the divine, or the nature of existence? The possibility invites us to consider the relief not just as an artifact, but as a key to understanding the philosophical and spiritual world of ancient Egypt. As we explore these new interpretations, we're reminded that the Dendera light is more than just a puzzle to be solved. It's a window into a culture that saw the world through a lens of interconnectedness. Whether it's a depiction of ancient technology, a spiritual symbol, or a blend of both, this enigmatic relief challenges us to think differently about the past and the ways ancient civilizations expressed their understanding of the universe. Its story is a testament to human creativity and the enduring power of art to bridge the gap between science, spirituality, and imagination. And perhaps in its silent, carved details, the Dendera light holds secrets that are still waiting to be uncovered, inviting us to look beyond the surface and explore the deeper truths of our shared human journey. Let's turn our attention back to the Kensington runestone, a slab of greywacke stone etched with runes that has sparked debate for over a century. Discovered in 1898 by Swedish immigrant Olof Öhman in Minnesota, the stone's inscription tells a dramatic tale of Norse explorers venturing deep into North America in the year 1362, long before Columbus set sail. For decades, the rune stone has been dismissed by many as a hoax, while others have defended its authenticity. But recent research is shedding new light on this enigmatic artifact, offering fresh perspectives that could reshape the debate entirely. One of the most compelling developments comes from advanced imaging techniques, which have allowed researchers to analyze the runestone's surface in unprecedented detail. These high-resolution scans have revealed subtle tool marks and weathering patterns that suggest the runes were carved centuries ago, not in the late 19th century as skeptics have argued. The depth and consistency of the grooves align with what would be expected from medieval Norse tools, lending credibility to the idea that the inscription is genuine. But here's where it gets even more intriguing. Some of the runes show signs of reworking or corrections, hinting that the stone might have been updated or altered over time. Could this mean the runestone was a living document, revised by later hands to reflect new knowledge or events? Another key finding involves the linguistic analysis of the runes. While earlier critics pointed out grammatical inconsistencies and anachronistic symbols, recent studies have identified patterns that align more closely with medieval Norse dialects. The mix of Old Swedish and Old Norse in the inscription, once seen as evidence of forgery, is now being reinterpreted as a reflection of the linguistic diversity of the time. Norse explorers, often traveling in mixed groups, might have used a blend of languages and scripts, creating a unique hybrid that defies modern expectations. This new perspective challenges the idea that the runestone's language is too messy to be authentic, suggesting instead that it might be a genuine product of its era. But perhaps the most fascinating angle comes from the stone's connection to the broader history of Norse exploration. Recent archaeological discoveries in North America, such as the Elance Ox Meadows settlement in Newfoundland, have confirmed that the Norse did reach the continent centuries before Columbus. While these sites are located far to the northeast of Minnesota, they raise the possibility that Norse explorers ventured further inland than previously believed. Could the Kensington runestone be evidence of such a journey, left behind as a marker or memorial for future generations? The idea isn't as far-fetched as it might seem, especially when we consider the stone's placement near a network of waterways that could have served as natural highways for explorers. Of course, skeptics remain unconvinced. Some argue that the runestone's discovery during a wave of Scandinavian immigration to the Midwest makes it more likely to be a product of cultural pride than ancient history. The lack of additional artifacts or corroborating evidence from the region has also fueled doubts. Yet, these criticisms don't fully explain the stone's intricate details or the depth of its weathering, which suggest it's more than just a modern creation. The debate continues, but the new research invites us to reconsider the runestone story with fresh eyes. What makes the Kensington runestone so compelling is its ability to spark imagination and debate. Whether it's a genuine relic of Norse exploration or a testament to the ingenuity of 19th-century immigrants, it challenges us to think differently about the boundaries of history and the ways we connect with the past. Each new discovery adds another layer to its mystery, keeping us engaged and curious. As we continue to explore the runestone's secrets, we're reminded that history is full of surprises, and that sometimes the most enduring stories are the ones that remain just out of reach. The Kensington runestone doesn't just invite us to question what we know, it inspires us to imagine the untold journeys that might still be waiting to be uncovered. While the Phaistos disk has long been one of archaeology's most tantalizing mysteries, recent breakthroughs are bringing us closer than ever to understanding its secrets. This small clay artifact, discovered over a century ago in the ruins of the Minoan palace of Phaistos, is covered in a spiral of stamped symbols that have defied translation since its discovery. But now, thanks to cutting-edge technology and fresh perspectives, researchers are unraveling new clues about what this enigmatic object might represent. Could we finally be on the verge of cracking its code? Let's explore the latest theories and what they might reveal about this ancient puzzle. One of the most exciting developments comes from the use of artificial intelligence and machine learning to analyze the disk's symbols. By feeding the unique characters into advanced algorithms, researchers have identified patterns that suggest the text could be a form of syllabic writing, a system where symbols represent syllables rather than individual letters or whole words. This approach has allowed linguists to compare the disk's symbols to known scripts, such as Linear A, another undeciphered Minoan writing system. While a full translation remains elusive, the AI has detected recurring sequences that could represent names, places, or even common phrases. This raises the possibility that the disk might contain a narrative or record, perhaps a prayer, a historical account, or even a piece of ancient literature. Another intriguing theory focuses on the disk's possible connection to rituals or ceremonies. The Minoans, known for their vibrant culture and religious practices, often used symbols to convey spiritual or cosmological ideas. Some researchers propose that the Phaistos disk could be a form of sacred text, perhaps a hymn or incantation meant to invoke the gods or mark a significant event. The spiral arrangement of the symbols might represent the cyclical nature of time or the journey of the soul, themes that resonate deeply in many ancient belief systems. This interpretation transforms the disk from a mere puzzle into a window into the spiritual world of the Minoans, offering a glimpse of how they understood their place in the cosmos. But not everyone is convinced that the disk is a written text at all. Some researchers suggest it could be a form of symbolic art designed to convey meaning through visual patterns rather than language. The symbols, arranged in a deliberate spiral, might represent concepts like fertility, the seasons, or the movement of celestial bodies. This theory aligns with the Minoans' known fascination with nature and the divine, suggesting that the disk could be a kind of ancient almanac or ritual object. If true, it would mean the disk isn't meant to be read in the traditional sense, but rather experienced as a visual and symbolic expression of cultural values. What makes these new theories so compelling is the way they challenge us to think differently about the Phaistos disk. Whether it's a written text, a sacred artifact, or a piece of symbolic art, the disk reminds us that ancient cultures often communicated in ways that go beyond our modern understanding of language. Its enduring mystery invites us to explore not just the symbols themselves, but the minds and hands that created them. As we continue to study this enigmatic artifact, we're reminded that the past is full of stories waiting to be uncovered, and that sometimes the key to unlocking them lies in asking the right questions. The Phaistos disc doesn't just challenge our understanding of history, it invites us to imagine a world where art, language, and spirituality were deeply intertwined. Whether we ever fully decode its message or not, its story is a testament to the creativity and ingenuity of the Minoan civilization. As we piece together the clues, we're left to wonder, what other secrets might this ancient disk still hold, waiting for the right moment to be revealed? The journey to uncover its meaning is far from over, and each new discovery brings us closer to understanding the profound legacy of those who came before us. As we turn to the Georgia Guidestones, that towering granite monument in rural Georgia, we find ourselves revisiting a mystery that feels as modern as it is enigmatic. Since their unveiling in 1980, the Guidestones have sparked endless debate, conspiracy theories, and speculation. But recently, new findings and perspectives have emerged, shedding fresh light on this cryptic structure and its possible purpose. Could these discoveries help us better understand the intentions behind this modern-day Stonehenge, or do they only deepen the intrigue? One of the most intriguing new angles comes from a closer examination of the Guidestone's astronomical alignments. The central pillar features a hole that aligns with the North Star, while a slot in the capstone allows sunlight to mark the solstices and equinoxes. This precision suggests that the creators had a deep understanding of astronomy, leading some to propose that the stones were designed as a kind of cosmic calendar or tool for tracking celestial events. For a monument inscribed with messages about humanity's future, this connection to the stars adds a layer of symbolism that feels almost prophetic. Were the Guidestones meant to guide future generations not just through words, but through the movements of the heavens themselves? Another fascinating development involves the messages etched into the granite slabs. The 10 principles, written in 8 languages, range from practical advice like maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature, to more cryptic directives like guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. Recent analysis has focused on the language and phrasing of these messages, revealing subtle nuances that suggest a blend of utopian idealism and cautionary wisdom. Some researchers now believe the Guidestones were intended as a blueprint for a sustainable future, offering solutions to global challenges like overpopulation, environmental degradation, and social inequality. Yet, the anonymity of their creators leaves us wondering, who were these visionaries and what inspired them to leave such a message for the world? The mystery of the Guidestones' creators has also taken a new turn with the recent vandalism and subsequent dismantling of the monument in 2022. This act of destruction has reignited interest in the stone's origins, prompting fresh investigations into the identity of R.C. Christian, the pseudonymous figure who commissioned them. While some believe Christian and his associates were part of a secretive group with altruistic intentions, others speculate that the stones were tied to more esoteric or even sinister agendas. The lack of concrete answers has only fueled the debate, with new theories emerging about the motivations behind this enigmatic project. What makes these new speculations so compelling is the way they challenge us to think differently about the Georgia Guidestones. Whether they were a call to action, a philosophical statement, or something more mysterious, the stones continue to resonate as a symbol of humanity's quest for meaning and connection. Their story invites us to consider not just the messages they carried, but the values and aspirations of those who created them. As we explore these fresh perspectives, we're reminded that the past, and even the recent past, is full of stories waiting to be uncovered. The Georgia Guidestones don't just stand as a monument to the unknown. they stand as a reminder that the future is always shaped by the questions we ask today. And perhaps in their silent, weathered presence, they hold secrets that are still waiting to be revealed. Deep within the heart of China's Zhejiang province, the Longyu Caves continue to defy explanation, their massive hand-carved chambers standing as a testament to ancient ingenuity. Discovered in 1992, these sprawling underground labyrinths have long puzzled archaeologists, engineers, and historians alike. But now, thanks to recent excavations and cutting-edge technology, we're uncovering new details about how these caves were built and why. What do these latest findings reveal about the civilization that created them, and what secrets might still lie hidden beneath the earth? Let's journey back into the depths of the Longyu Caves to explore their enduring mysteries. One of the most striking revelations comes from advanced laser scanning and 3D mapping, which have allowed researchers to document the cave's precise dimensions and intricate carvings with unprecedented accuracy. These scans reveal that the caves were not haphazardly dug, but were carefully planned and executed with remarkable consistency. The walls and ceilings are adorned with parallel chisel marks, a signature of the tools and techniques used by the ancient builders. What's astonishing is the uniformity of these marks, suggesting a level of craftsmanship and coordination that would be impressive even by modern standards. How did these builders achieve such precision without the aid of advanced tools or lighting? The answer remains elusive, but the evidence points to a highly organized and skilled workforce, one that may have been driven by a shared vision or purpose. Equally fascinating is the discovery of new chambers and passageways that had previously gone unnoticed. These hidden spaces, some of which are partially collapsed or filled with debris, hint at a much larger and more complex network than previously thought. Some researchers speculate that the caves might have been part of an even grander underground system, perhaps connecting to other sites or serving as a hub for a larger community. The sheer scale of the excavation, estimated to have removed over 1 million cubic meters of rock, raises questions about the resources and labor required to complete such a project. Was this the work of a powerful ruler, a collective effort by a local population, or something else entirely? The answers may lie in the details of these newly uncovered spaces. Another intriguing angle comes from the study of the cave's acoustics. Recent tests have shown that certain chambers produce unique sound effects, amplifying or distorting voices in ways that suggest intentional design. Could the caves have been used for rituals or ceremonies, with sound playing a key role in the experience? This theory aligns with the idea that the Longyu Caves held a spiritual or symbolic significance for their creators. The combination of precise engineering and acoustic properties suggests that these spaces were more than just functional. They were designed to evoke awe and wonder, perhaps as a way of connecting with the divine or the natural world. Yet, despite these new discoveries, the purpose of the Longyu Caves remains a subject of debate. Some researchers propose that they were used for mining, possibly to extract clay or stone for construction. Others believe they might have served as storage facilities, shelters, or even a form of hydraulic engineering to manage water in the region. The lack of artifacts or inscriptions complicates the picture, leaving us to piece together clues from the caves themselves. What's clear is that these underground marvels were not created without a purpose. They were a deliberate and monumental undertaking, one that speaks to the ambition and creativity of their builders. As we continue to explore the Longyu Caves, we're reminded that the past is full of surprises waiting to be uncovered. Each new discovery brings us closer to understanding the minds and hands behind these ancient wonders, but the full story remains tantalizingly out of reach. Whether they were places of ritual engineering feats or something yet to be imagined, the Longyu Caves challenge us to think differently about the capabilities of ancient civilizations. Their silent, stone-carved halls invite us to dig deeper, not just into the earth, but into the stories of those who shaped it. And perhaps in their shadowed depths, they hold secrets that are still waiting to be revealed. Now, let's revisit the Ubaid lizardmen, those enigmatic figurines with their striking reptilian features that have sparked speculation for decades. Discovered in southern Iraq and dating back to around 5000 BCE, these small clay statues depict humanoid figures with slanted eyes, elongated heads, and what appear to be tails. For years, they've been a source of fascination and debate, with theories ranging from symbolic deities to evidence of ancient extraterrestrial contact. But recent research is introducing new perspectives, challenging old assumptions and offering fresh insights into the culture that created them. What do these discoveries tell us about the Ubaid people and the mysteries they left behind? One of the most intriguing new theories focuses on the figurine's potential connection to shamanistic practices. In many ancient cultures, shamans acted as intermediaries between the human and spiritual realms, often adopting animalistic traits to symbolize their transformative abilities. The reptilian features of the Ubaid lizardmen might represent this blending of human and animal forms, embodying the shaman's role as a bridge between worlds. Some researchers suggest that these figurines could have been used in rituals, serving as talismans or guides for spiritual journeys. Imagine these small statues standing at the center of ceremonies, their otherworldly features inspiring awe and reverence among those who sought connection with the divine. This interpretation shifts the focus from extraterrestrial theories to the rich spiritual traditions of the Ubaid culture, offering a more grounded but no less fascinating explanation. Another compelling angle comes from the study of the figurine's craftsmanship and context. The Ubaid people were known for their advanced pottery and artistic skills, and the lizardmen figurines are no exception. Their intricate details, from the patterns on their bodies to the lifelike poses, suggest a deep understanding of both artistry and symbolism. Some researchers propose that these figurines might have been representations of mythical beings or ancestors, created to honor or invoke their power. In this view, the reptilian features could symbolize transformation, fertility, or even immortality, themes that resonate across many ancient belief systems. The figurines' placement in graves and domestic spaces further supports the idea that they held significant cultural or spiritual meaning, perhaps acting as protectors or guides for the living and the dead. Yet, not everyone is convinced that the lizardmen were purely symbolic or spiritual. Some researchers have revisited the idea that they might depict actual beings, not extraterrestrials, but perhaps members of a distinct social or cultural group within the Ubaid civilization. The figurines' unique features could represent a specific lineage, profession, or even a ceremonial role within the community. For example, they might depict healers, leaders, or individuals who wore masks or costumes during rituals. This theory challenges us to think differently about how ancient societies represented themselves, blending the real and the symbolic in ways that are both practical and profound. What makes these new theories so compelling is the way they invite us to see the Ubaid lizardmen not as isolated curiosities, but as part of a larger cultural narrative. Whether they were symbols of spiritual transformation, representations of mythical beings, or depictions of real individuals, these figurines remind us that ancient art often served multiple purposes: practical, spiritual, and artistic. Their enigmatic features continue to spark curiosity and debate, challenging us to explore the boundaries of what we think we know about the past. As we uncover new clues and perspectives, we're reminded that history is full of stories waiting to be told, and that sometimes the most extraordinary discoveries come in the most unexpected forms. The Ubaid lizardmen don't just challenge our understanding of ancient cultures, they invite us to imagine the world as they saw it, a place where art, spirituality, and identity intertwined in ways we're only beginning to understand. The main penny has long been a tantalizing piece of history, a small coin with a story that could reshape our understanding of early exploration in North America. Discovered in 1957 at the Goddard site, a Native American settlement in Maine, this silver coin bears the unmistakable markings of Norse craftsmanship, dating back to the reign of King Olaf Kyrre in the 11th century. For decades, it stood as the only confirmed Norse artifact found in the United States outside of Newfoundland's Elance Aux Meadows. But now, new evidence is adding fresh layers to this mystery, offering insights that could change the way we view this enigmatic object. Recent studies have focused on the coin's context within the Goddard site, a bustling hub of trade and cultural exchange. The site itself is rich with artifacts from across North America, including materials from the Great Lakes and the Midwest, suggesting a vast network of trade routes. The main penny found among these artifacts raises intriguing questions about how it ended up so far from its place of origin. Was it carried by Norse explorers who ventured south from their Newfoundland settlements, or did it travel through the hands of indigenous traders, passing from one community to another over centuries? The new evidence leans toward the latter, pointing to the extensive trade networks that connected distant cultures long before European colonization. One of the most compelling findings comes from the analysis of other artifacts found alongside the main penny. Researchers have identified materials that suggest the Goddard site was a melting pot of cultures, with items from as far away as the Great Plains and the Mississippi Valley. This discovery supports the idea that the coin could have traveled through these networks, arriving in Maine through a series of exchanges rather than direct Norse contact. While this doesn't rule out the possibility of Norse explorers reaching the region, it offers a more plausible explanation for how the coin ended up where it did. But the story doesn't end there. New isotopic analysis of the silver in the main penny has revealed that it likely originated from mines in Scandinavia, further confirming its Norse origins. This finding strengthens the connection between the coin and the Viking settlements in Greenland and Newfoundland, suggesting that it was part of the broader Norse economy. Yet, the absence of other Norse artifacts at the Goddard site or nearby regions leaves the question of direct Norse presence in Maine unanswered. Could the main penny be a lone relic of a fleeting encounter, or is it evidence of a larger yet undiscovered chapter of Norse exploration in North America? The debate over the main penny isn't just about its origins, it's about what it represents for our understanding of early interactions between cultures. If the coin did travel through indigenous trade networks, it highlights the complexity and reach of these systems, connecting distant peoples in ways we're only beginning to appreciate. On the other hand, if it's evidence of Norse exploration, it challenges the narrative of European discovery, suggesting that the Vikings may have ventured further into North America than we've previously believed. What makes the main penny so fascinating is its ability to spark curiosity and debate, even as new evidence reshapes the conversation. Whether it's a testament to the ingenuity of ancient trade networks or a clue to a forgotten chapter of exploration, this small coin reminds us that history is full of surprises. As we continue to uncover its secrets, we're left to wonder, what other stories might be hidden in the artifacts of the past, waiting to rewrite the narratives we thought we knew? The main penny doesn't just connect us to the Vikings or the indigenous peoples of North America. It connects us to the enduring human drive to explore, trade, and leave a mark on the world. And perhaps in its silent silver surface, it holds the key to unlocking even more mysteries of our shared history. As we bring our exploration of the 48 enigmatic artifacts that confound modern science to a close, one undeniable truth emerges: the past is far more mysterious than we often give it credit for. These artifacts, each a puzzle in its own right, have taken us on a journey through time, revealing glimpses of civilizations that achieved feats we're still struggling to fully comprehend. From the intricate gears of the Antikythera Mechanism to the cryptic symbols of the Voynich Manuscript, these relics challenge us to rethink what we know about human history, innovation, and the limits of our understanding. What makes these artifacts so compelling isn't just their age or their mystery, it's the questions they force us to ask. How did ancient cultures achieve such precision without modern tools? What inspired them to create objects that still baffle us today? And perhaps most importantly, what other secrets are still buried beneath the sands of time, waiting to be discovered? These aren't just questions for historians or scientists, they're invitations for all of us to look at the world with fresh eyes and an open mind. This journey has shown us that history isn't a static collection of facts. It's a living, breathing narrative filled with gaps and surprises. Every artifact we've explored is a reminder that there's still so much to learn, so many stories waiting to be told. Whether it's the possibility of ancient electricity with the Baghdad Battery or the tantalizing hints of lost civilizations in the Dropa stones, these mysteries remind us that the past is full of wonders that defy easy explanation. As we wrap up, we want to leave you with a challenge. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep seeking answers. History isn't just about what we know, it's about what we're still discovering. If this video sparked your curiosity, don't stop here. Dive deeper, read more, and share your thoughts with others. Who knows, you might just uncover a new perspective or stumble upon a clue that helps unravel one of history's greatest mysteries. Before we go, we'd love to hear from you. Which artifact fascinated you the most? Do you have a theory about any of these ancient enigmas? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey through the unknown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with fellow explorers. Until next time, keep your curiosity alive and your mind open to the endless possibilities of the past. The mysteries of history are waiting. Will you be the one to uncover them?